Okay. Let me just get you all set up here.
Plugged in.
Mostly that, because you're a dingus.
You're a dingus. Got him.
So you're not a dingus?
No, I'm just saying you are.
Well, yeah, I thought we all knew that.
Yeah, only a dingus would choose Vampy. This is,
Shut up. I'm winning. Nothing but dubs.
Sure.
Except
I'm
for...
sure that's why Azuro got, like, harassed for a day by that drowsy.
I'm actually okay with that mission.
I thought you died in the middle of it. Not the drowsy. In the dungeon.
I don't remember. Listen, all I know is I got fucked over by the Wish Cache. Because Wish Cache followed by 8 Goldines all standing super silent.
Hey.
Yeah, you do your thing.
Damn, Daniel, back at it again with the white mans. Is that a dated meme? Yeah, I think it is. Hey, bro. We're here to solve some crimes. Well, I mean, we kind of know that our client's not guilty, but we have to prove who is. The unspeakable story. Dude, that doesn't sound healthy. That, like, sounds like a little beyond a stomach flu. Like, maybe you should get that investigated by a doctor. The small box deposited with the pawnbroker by Mr. McGilden 2 months ago. And in the night of Mr. Windibank's murder, the only item on the shelves that was touched by whoever broke into the shop. Quick, let's open it and see what's inside. It's a music box player. Good gracious. It's no ordinary box, it seems. Yeah, I already got it checked, and they were like, well, I don't know what's wrong with you, I just have to wait it out. Dog, that's awful. I'm genuinely, like, I don't know how to explain to you that that's not normal. Here the box houses a miniature music box movement. And then, is it too much to expect? I think it would be reasonable to assume that it's a device for the playback of this disc, my lord. I know, but I'll be fine. I still have to go to school. If you're puking left and right, I would probably not advise going to school. Just throwing that out there. Yeah, that's very not good. Like, I would get that seriously consider going to a hospital, because if you're blacking out, that is a very, very bad thing. If you're blacking out, that probably means you're severely dehydrated, and they need to pump you full of fluids. I don't know how to explain that. Passing out in any way. Puking in the morning. Bro, are you pregnant? Is that how that works? No, in all seriousness, this is very bizarre, and I would get you seriously checked out by, like, a hospital or something. That is not normal by any stretch of imagination. It's not McGilda's disc. It was the disc of his victim in the omnibus. From like 10 or earlier, I'm puking. After 10 I stop. Yeah, that's very bizarre, and I would get that just medically, professionally checked out by a doctor that actually seems to give a shit, since your doctor doesn't seem to know what's up. I mean, that could very well be, but that's also, like, still not good, and you should get that treated.
Hold it!
Gregson, wait, my lord. Agreed. What is the meaning of this, Inspector? The music box and the disc are unrelated to the case. No need to spoil the somber atmosphere of the courtroom.
Objection!
The disc may very well have motivated the culprit in the case to commit murder. Yeah, I maintain that this is not normal. Like, nerves causing puking, very common. Causing relentless puking for a week, but only up until 10 a.m., that's not normal. Call a doctor. Go hospital. I don't know how to explain to you. Scott Yard has a vested interest here, but is the policy of the prosecutor to leave no avenues unexplored? And you, Inspector, no jurisdiction here to prevent that from happening. Oh. I mean, that is very not good. Bro, you realize if you start dry heaving, that's because you have nothing left in your stomach. You need to see a doctor. Like, in the kindest terms possible. Don't be an idiot. Go see a hospital. Go see a doctor. Something, anything. Oh no, I know exactly what's happening. They'll tell me that they don't know what's wrong and all they have to do is get me on fluids and have nutrients pumped into me. I mean, I totally get that, but this shouldn't be happening to you. What the fuck did that man do? I'm assuming you're referring to the man in white. He likes to do poses. Yeah, he's all over the place. He likes to do JoJo poses. I really don't know. Gregson recognizes the sound. My god. If that's the stance of the defense, my Nipponese friend, answer me this. Just what relevance do you propose this willful shamming has on the case? The defense's belief that the sound emanating from this music box is not supposed to be music. It's Morse code. That's what the music box is.
Okay.
Yep, exactly. Bro caught on.
But who's Morse and...
What is his code?
What is his code?
Dots and dashes, baby. Yeah, Gregson had a fucking fit. Like, he's like, this thing is irrelevant. Fuck you. Don't do this. And then Van Zyke just goes, I'm leaving no avenue unexplored. You have no jurisdiction here. Get fucked. And the judges, like, play it, and he's just, like, losing his marbles.
Objection!
Yeah, we actually got to hear Gregson shout, hold it, when Judge went to play the music box. Well, they told us that they are not. Okay. I'm sure the court would like to hear what they are. Do enlighten us, my Nipponese friend. Well, surely you have an idea in mind? Because if not, it will be the death of your ill-formed argument. Exactly. The music box is clearly broken. Refusing to accept that fact is pure foolishness. I've just examined the music box very thoroughly, and I'm fairly certain that it's not broken after all. Really, the way it's been made, it can only produce a single note anyway. Alright, well if the music box isn't broken, it must mean that the sound it's producing has some significance that isn't musical. Oh my god. I mean, granted, like, canonically, Ryanosuke doesn't know what the fuck Morse code is. Save for juror number 4 being like... Something just struck me right now. I feel like recently, in the past few hours even, I've heard another sound very much like this one. Yes, it's a familiar sound. Actually, Iris, I was just thinking the same thing. I'm going to have to press the defense for an answer. So your assertion that the sounds produced by this music box is not in fact music at all. Last music box I had could play a few notes, but yeah. All the evidence we've seen so far, all the testimony we've heard, all point to a single answer now. The prosecution demands that my learned Nipponese friend presents proof now. Tangible proof of the latest wild speculation. Alright then. The evidence that explains the true nature of the sounds in this music box is... oh god. I know what they're trying to get me to say, but I don't know how they want me to say it. You know what I mean? It's Morse code. But...
very interesting, very interesting.
it's not the third bullet. Probably not the pawnbroker's ticket. Is it something obvious and I'm missing it?
No, I don't think so. Like, I don't know much of the contents of this item. So.
Case notes?
No, other things.
Like, the only other thing... I'm being really dumb, aren't I?
No, we should just go through each of the different pieces, I guess. So, this is the manuscript, that doesn't help.
Yeah, of course.
And then we have Pawnbroker's ticket.
For the code.
That'll do much.
I know. Miguel's case notes. Yeah, that doesn't tell me much.
Today's paper.
Oh my god, it's gonna be this. I got you. It's the secret communications. Yep. Okay. It took me a second to remember that there was a back half to it.
Yeah, I didn't know any of this
It's
stuff.
today's
Like,
paper.
Take that!
I was like,
I was
actually,
wondering what you made a music box with holes in it, and then if you could put it side by side to show words or phrase. Yeah, I mean, that'd be not akin, like, that wouldn't be too different from, like, a Caesar cipher, but you'd have to have visible letters for that to work, which would make it a little bit, like, harder. Anyway, hello, Jen. The headline is Pawnbroker Perishes in Pick Purse Plunder. Hardly supportive of your cause. No, my lord. Look a little further down the page. Further down. Ministry Mole. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice. Yes, a very serious matter being investigated at the highest level, I understand. I've heard that international transmissions along supposedly secure lines are somehow being intercepted and leaked to various other countries. And presumably, those transmissions are in the form of wired telegrams? Of course. Juror number 5. Your input, please. There it is. Stop. Oh, me, sir? Whatever is the matter. You told the court before that you worked at the same communication station as Mr. Graydon, did you not? Yes, that's correct. And the particular station where you work deals with government communications and newspaper reports? No, like you cut the thing that they put the holes in and the dots are put in a pattern to make a letter that you can only see when bending the metal straight and smushed together. I'll be perfectly honest, I think that's a little beyond what they're asking for here.
oh.
But I forgot that Graydon worked at the government communication station.
He's selling government secrets via music box.
You don't mean to say, is it... That's right, madam. It bears more than a passing resemblance to the sound made by your telegraph machine as you tap it. I believe it's called Morse code, but I don't believe it. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to leaking telegrams from a government department, there could be nobody more perfectly placed than a highly skilled communications officer. Are you suggesting that the music box disc contains stolen government secrets and Morse code? Order, please everyone order. But this is high treason, council, deserving of capital punishment. Too much new vocabulary. What is treason and what is capital punishment?
I'm looking up in your book.
The sorts of words I'd half expect you know. Damn. For our sovereign government's confidential information, hostile nations would surely pay almost any price. Yes, and on that night 2 months ago, that was the very negotiation that was taking place inside the omnibus. But in the end, Miguel had perished, and the all-important disc lay unclaimed in the pawnbrokery. That music gave me a headache. Yeah, I know, it is quite discordant. In which case, whoever stole the information in the first place must surely have been beside himself with worry. Because if the disc were to be discovered before it found its way out of the country, it would reveal an act of high treason punishable by death. Fair enough. So the culprit had no choice but to retrieve it. In order to do that, he would have to gain entry to the pawnbrokery illegally in the middle of the night. Because the article left behind by McGill would incriminate him too much if it got into the wrong hands. Isn't that right, Mr. Graydon? You think I've been stealing government secrets? Preposterous! Absolutely preposterous! Off with his or her head. I think it's a guy. You claim complete innocence, do you? Well, of course I do. I've had to stand here in silence while that pretentious foreign lawyer has been prattling away.
Objection!
Objection from Van Zykes? Then by all means, counter the charges, sir. Wait, Van Zykes is on my side for once? Graydon is hot and therefore he has to be the bad guy? Ah, so Van Zykes has been the bad guy all along. But I bet I missed a bang, so bang. No, we didn't, but we just revealed that the music box disc that McGill had left behind at the pawnbrokery is actually government secrets stolen and ferried away from the government in Morse code on the disc. And Mr. Graydon is the person that's 99% going to do it. Prosecution demands the witness testifies in response to the accusations brought by the defense. Delighted, I'm sure. The witness is reminded that the crime is under scrutiny is the murder of the pawnbroker, Mr. Windibank. That being a most litigious offense, of which the law of this land sanctions as capital punishment. The heinous act of high treason is no less a serious crime. I urge you to bear that in mind as you testify, Mr. Graydon. So then, let us proceed. You may...
Hold it!
Oh, hold it. Skulkins. You gotta let us have a rabbit in a poke here, Governor. We got things to say. I beg your pardon, who do you think you are? Name's Nash Skulkin. Occupation is professional baddie. Name's Ringo Skulkin, but we ain't baddies enough to sell out our motherland. That's right. We what they call, the Treat Skulkin brothers. Bad timing, fellas. Very bad timing. Graydon's counter. A mere communications officer couldn't possibly steal confidential government information. Besides, the sounds produced by that music box aren't even Morse code. Some low-class brickmaker negotiating with McGilded anyway, is it not? I have no relation to the man. Look, all we done is break into the gaff the other night like what we told us to do. If we'd known there was dodgy government secrets involved, we wouldn't have touched it. Oh, so now the Skulkin brothers have formally negotiated, and admitted to, working with...
stole, but at least we were content to steal.
Mr. and Mr. Skulkin. One Mr. will do, Governor. What's up? Do I take it that you now admit to the crime? That on the night in question, you did indeed gain entry to the premises illegally? And moreover, you did so as a party of 3 in collaboration with Mr. Graydon here? It's Luigi and Mario. You're not wrong. We did, Gov, we did. Damn, they just admitted to the crime.
That means getting out of a bigger crime. Yeah,
That's true. They have Timmy and Tommy no guys. I mean, I think that's kind of the intent. I have no idea what these two ruffians are referring to. You little getting us mixed up in all this monkey business. You never said nothing about government secrets. It was supposed to be a straight-up job. And what about the geezer whose shop it was, eh? Poor old bloke didn't have to die, did he? Nice to know who your friends are. Whatever these men say, I deny the accusations. Indeed. Well, I certainly wasn't expecting this little music box to become so significant in the proceedings. However, as it has, I will admit it to the court record as evidence. Alright, time to cross this man. Graydon's counter.
Hold it!
So, this newspaper headline accurate? Government communications are being intercepted? How could I possibly know? What do you mean by that? Any important government communications are handled by high-level officers, by specialists. General members of staff in the station where I work would never be entrusted with such sensitive information. Oh no, stop. Must say something, stop. Juror number 5? We regular communications officers aren't as lowly as you're being led to believe. The team of us are responsible for setting up and testing the telegraphs used by the Ministry. Mr. Graydon's the team leader, so he would have even more means to do this. That's fascinating. Graydon is a highly skilled operator staff, currently in the presence of idle stop. So you had access to the equipment used for these confidential communications, Mr. Graydon. Well, what of it? The transmissions are always made behind closed doors, so they can't be heard. In any case, all messages are sent in cipher. Normal employees couldn't possibly understand them. Oh no, stop, must say something, stop. Mr. Graydon regularly attends meetings with Ministry technicians and the Ministry Communications team. He assists them in ensuring that there are no errors in important international communications. And he's received the top prize at the Cipher Cracking Convention 5 years in a row now. That's fascinating.
You gotta stop when one of the jurors is literally your coworker.
Graydon is a highly skilled operator staff, currently in the presence of idle stop. Well, your idol would appreciate it if you keep your mouth shut. She should really pick her idols more carefully.
Is that intimidating?
I tell you, this lawyer's accusations are completely unfounded. I don't know what the Morse code says. I can't do Morse. That's something.
Hold it!
Or if you can't do Morse code, you're Alex, not Morse.
To anyone with a brain, that would be blatantly apparent listening to that music box for even a few seconds. Of course. Van says, surely it can't be that my learned friend is unfamiliar with Morse code. Ouch, he looks genuinely shocked at my ignorance. I would be more than happy to demonstrate the basics for you, sir. Weston here in court. Morse code is a continuous series of 2 distinct tones. Tones, you say? Yes, a short dot and a long dash. By combining those in different ways, you construct letters. For example, this is A. And this is B. But when you listen to the sound produced by this music box, you only hear one tone. But it sounds so similar, you wouldn't know it's the same in everything. But there's no discernible meaning to this apparently random sequence of sounds. So your assertion is fundamentally flawed. This is not Morse code. We have the answer. He was looking for a second disc. What do you think the second disc contains? The other tone, when played in sequence.
If only there was... Well, first of all, where would you put the other one? If only you could, I don't know, investigate the music box. The thing that you always do, like, immediately, but you haven't done this time.
You're right, I'm dumb. That looks like a button. Press the button.
You're almost always the one that, like,
I'm fucking
jumps
stupid,
to
man.
the... You almost always jump on the evidence as soon as you get it, and this time you just completely ignore it and like, damn, why don't they see it?
Look at that, there's another movement on the underside. So does that mean you can set another disc to play back on this side? Oh my god. I'm fucking stupid.
Every single...
I
all
was
of these
so
cases,
smart, and
you
now
jump
I
on
decide
every
to be
single
dumb.
thing, and this is the one time you don't immediately jump to investigate every bit of the evidence.
Perhaps you should Stop. Nothing to say but stop. Oh, it's so frustrating, isn't it? I mean, if the government secrets were somehow being leaked using the music box, so many other things would slot in place so nicely. Would there still be something I haven't considered? Could it be impossible to use this? There's still every possibility this music box was instrumental in leaking government secrets. That's the booth of the defense.
Objection!
Does it please you in some way, my Nipponese friend, to repeat the same line of argument ad infinitum? It's already been established that to be Morse code, 2 tones are required, dots and dashes. Yes, I'm well aware of that. Then what? Well, it would appear that the defense has a hypothesis to put forward. You had better present your idea at once, counsel. How do you propose that this music box, which appears to produce only a single tone, could have been used as cipher? Press the button. Looks like the button that opens his bed. Oh my god. Looks like the two movements are linked together. Oh my god. I'm so smart and yet so fucking stupid.
Got it!
It's just the one time that you don't immediately investigate the evidence is...
To be perfectly honest, I was afraid that if I investigated it, it would play the music again, which Brosa gave him a headache, so I was trying to be polite. Another movement on the other side of the music box. What? It appears, my lord, that the two movements are linked together. In other words, you can put two discs in this music box, and the sounds both will play back at the same time. As the court has heard, Morse code comprises of two tones, a short dot and a long dash. With a second disc in place, this music box can be used to generate Morse code and convey a message. Wait, what? I'm not even paying attention to the sound, just watching. Okay, well, listen, I was trying to be polite, okay? I'm not, like, blaming you, I'm just like...
It's all your fault, apparently.
Damn, shut up. This poor excuse for a lawyer has absolutely no evidence to support his claims. Oh yeah, just produce us the other disc. Yeah. May I remind the court that, as the witness pointed out, he was not the one in the omnibus when they killed him 2 months ago, striking a dealer for discs or discs. Yes, that was Mason, the brickmaker. Exactly, it had nothing to do with it. Though it has holes, I admit the argument presented by the defense has much promise. But the cross-examination should continue. Reiterate your testimony if you please, Mr. Graydon. If I must, though I maintain exactly what I did at the start of this pointless cross. Van Zyx looks like a hot grandpa. Yeah, I'm...
Yeah.
Hold it!
Yeah.
So 2 months ago in that omnibus, we killed the brickmaker and stole the disc. Mr. Mason was a single man with almost nothing to his name. Seems he lived in an artisan quarter some years ago, but some people there remember little of him. Doesn't make much sense though, does it? How would a humble brickmaker come to acquire secret government information? How indeed! There must have been somebody else involved behind the scenes of all this. Somebody who acquired the disc and gave it to Mr. Mason. In order to take it to a meeting with McGilder to negotiate a deal. Dear May, you may have it in for me, sir, but I assure you, I have far more class than that. No brickmaker from an artisan quarter in this world to be a communications officer. If only I could find some evidence to link the two of them together. Alright, let's just finish the press out.
Hold it!
Like Mr. Graydon told you to do, you mean? That's it, yeah. Who else, huh? Silly me thought he was popping over for a natter after all these years, but the Rodder's in a dodgy job for us. Ash. Let me stop you there, Mr. Scullion. After all them years, you say? Do you mean to tell me that Mr. Graydon is an acquaintance of yours? We're the sociable kind of baddies, you know? Sure, let's say Graydon's an old Chinaman.
Excuse me.
Me.
Something wrong, Mr. Skulkin? Eh? No, the other Mr. Skulkin. What? No? Who, me? When your brother was testifying just now, he said something that seemed to cause you to react. That grated, uninterested pout has me thirsting. Jen, please. He's a criminal who stole government secrets and betrayed us to the, I don't know, Chinese or something.
Allegedly, for now.
We used to have a right old laugh together way back when.
Listen, let Jen thirst after him until we throw him in jail. Afterwards, that's all on you, Jen.
Pair?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
with Ash, I wouldn't...
They are quite a pair.
You wouldn't, I mean, you look at him now in his fancy whistle and flute, and I wouldn't Adam and Eve it. But when he was younger, we was from the poor part of town, just like us. Boom. Connection. We was always a leery one. He had the brains, he had the savvy. Always coming up with smart ideas, like what would never have gone through our heads. Poor Clammy, ain't that the truth? Remember Milverton and Silkin's milk run? That was a corker, eh? Save it until after the trial. Your reminiscing has no place in this courtroom. And neither does your fruit. Oi, the geezer asked us a question, didn't he? And we was answering. Yeah, we ain't done nothing wrong. I mean, strictly speaking, you're... No, you... Jen says she's joking about being hot. I just don't understand. I don't know, could that sentimental story be relevant? Yes, add it to the testimony, please. My lord.
Just
Yes, counsel.
yes or no. Always yes.
Yeah, exactly. The last sentimental statement could hold vital information related to the case. Very well, counsel. I'll permit the brothers to supplement their testimony with that detail. Briefly, I hasten to add. Say no more. Skulkin's never skulkin'.
I was waiting for him to look back over at Reese again.
Yeah.
Hold it!
I'm sure I'm gonna regret asking, but what exactly was that? Some kind of business? Just a little scheme we had going back when we was youngsters. A bit of fun, really. Just Curter trial. I'm trying to lighten the mood of this Curter trial and failing miserably. Delivering fresh milk to the locals, and that's what it was all about. That sounds alarmingly legitimate. There must be a catch. I suppose since we're here, I should ask them to elaborate, but on what? Milverton and Skulkin. Yeah, give me that business name. So this business was a bit of fun, you said, and it was just yourselves and Mr. Graydon involved? Yeah, that's it. Milverton and Skulkin's milk run, was it? Yeah, that's it. And where did, the Milverton part come from? Alright, I thought a clever clogs like you would have worked that one out. That is,
Hold it!
enough of this. How much longer are we expected to listen to this drivel? I don't.
Objection!
No, no, no. Let me guess. You don't accept anything these two witnesses are saying. I don't know why I want fruit right now. I'm gonna get fruit. Good for you. Tell me, why is it at the mention of the name Milverton that you decided to interject? Because it weren't the happiest of homes he came from. Yeah, his old man was struggling for money so much. His wife walked out on him. She took the name Graydon then, see? That should always be Milverton to us. Fuck, what was that Thrice-Fired Mason's name? His papa!
Papa!
Damn. So that used to be your surname, did it? Of course not. This is all bunkum. I've been a Graydon since I was born. Do you really think you can rely on the testimony of these two thieves, huh?
Have been pretty
You're a
useful.
communications officer attached to the civil service. As such, your personal details will have been thoroughly checked at the time of your appointment. It would be a very simple matter indeed to subpoena these records, Mr. Graydon. Ah. Well, it would appear Mr. and Mr. Skulkin's testimony has been reliable for once. You were born Ashley Milverton, then. Is that correct? Very well, yes. Wow, this is the second fake name he's used. Okay. It's a legitimate name, but you know what I mean.
I don't know, his first fake name was great.
Eggert Benedict. Ashley Graydon's personal profile has been updated in court record.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we seem to be up to our necks in a serious matter of national security. Although all this talk about interception of secret government messages is just conjecture at this stage. But explain a number of things, though, wouldn't it? Negotiation Ginny overheard on the omnibus 2 months ago, breaking at Windibanks. But the trouble is, it wasn't Graydon at the omnibus in the Gilded. Damn, I can't believe Ashley got his dad killed over selling government secrets.
It happens the best of us, right?
Could be those two brothers, yeah. Okay, so what I feel like I should present are, let me go like,
Objection!
I pressed wrong. I meant to hit examine, but I accidentally hit present. Because I'm trying to present Milverton. You know what I mean?
I mean, yes, you do need to present those, but where you're presenting them was the complete and total wrong spot.
Yeah, it's gotta be, there you go. Yep, I'm being stupid.
That's what I was like. You're not wrong with the case notes. You just presented the absolute wrong spot.
Really, I've never, I can't say I've seen, yeah, I found it fascinating that Ashley was a popular boy name back in the day, now it's almost exclusively a female. We're seeing the exact same thing with James happen in reverse. Apparently James is becoming a popular girl's name.
Fabulous.
I mean, good for them. It's a good agendered name then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how Alex could be Alexander or Alexandra or Alexa, I guess, but nobody would name
Alex.
their child, yeah. Because I haven't gone by that names for years, it means nothing to me. No, I don't think that's the real explanation at all. The truth is, you had a reason to hide that name. Explain yourself, please, counsel. I have here the notes from the omnibus case, my lord. As we all know, the victim, the man we now understand to have been negotiating with the Gilded, yes, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker. That's right, only Mason wasn't his surname at all. That was his given name. His full name was Mason Milverton. You mean to say, saints alive. Mr. Ashley Milverton. Is it not the case that the brickmaker, Mr. Mason Milverton, was your father? As I believe I mentioned earlier, your family history will have been thoroughly checked out when you join the civil service. And it really would take no time at all for the court to subpoena those records.
Just don't lie, dude.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you, peanut butter crackers sound good, but I really have to question where you went for fruit and came back with peanut butter crackers.
I mean, the peanuts, like, basically fruit.
Close enough, I guess?
So that's like, just like a hop, skip, and a jump to peanut butter crackers.
Sure. The truth, you have been illegally acquiring highly confidential government information and selling it on the Gilded in collaboration with your father.
Fabulous.
I thought he was gonna fall all the way over. LMAO, yeah, we didn't have any fruit. Or jelly. The new fact and evidence unveiled by the cross-examination of this witness all comes together to reveal the truth. The truth, you say?
Fruit equal jelly. Obviously, Jenna's never had apple butter.
I mean, yeah, but isn't apple butter just kind of like a... Okay. You're right, it's more of a jam. Anyway, that you collaborated with your father, Mr. Mason Milverton, in illegal dealings with Magnus McGilded. I love that we're interrupting a murdered child with ontological origins of fruit and its association. But it into this music box, me and counsel.
Aren't apple butter
Yes.
and peanut butter basically the same thing?
Apple butter does slap. I'm just throwing that out there. Pumpkin butter is the best. I can't say I've had any. Yeah, stealing information and being sent in secret government communications and selling it on to Mr. McGilded. Mr. Grading concocted this elaborate scheme of using 2 music box discs to encode the information, as presumably a safety measure against the information falling into the wrong hands. And a very effective one. I shouldn't have given the scheme any credence whatsoever. But the deal with McGilded went sour. The brickmaker met his end. Yes, but before he was arrested, McGilded managed to temporarily dispose of the stolen disc at the pawnbroker. Then, having learned of the situation, you appeared at Windibanks 2 days ago, in an attempt to recover the 2 articles McGilded had placed in pawn there. Blueberry butter? Damn. There's more butters than I knew. I guess this is America.
Just wait until they drop peanut butter.
Holy shit.
That'd be
That attempt failed. One of the discs was seized by the police, and the other you never found. So that same night, you enlisted the help of the Skulkin brothers and broke into the pawnbrokery. This time, determined to recover the second disc. Are you suggesting that the second disc was inside the music box? We never knew nothing about that. On the night that Mr. Windibank was killed. Never would I have guessed that this case hinged on stereoscopes and Morse code.
I wouldn't have until
to
they
the
went,
pawnbrokery.
hey, you want to learn about stereoscopes? Oh god, it's gonna be
Yeah.
integral.
I made this apple cranberry butter one year to give as gifts. I ended up not gifting any of it. Yo, that sounds so real, man. I mean, how many milks can you name off your head? Oh my god.
Milk?
Chocolate milk, strawberry milk, vanilla milk. That's about it.
I remember there was a fudge milk, which is basically just chocolate milk, but like extra chocolatey. 1%, 2% skim, come on.
Why was that the only article disturbed? The answer is obvious, because it contained the second disc, which the intruder was desperate to retrieve.
John went the complete opposite way.
Soy milk, you're right.
Just so like, we're like chocolate, peanut, vanilla, strawberry.
Technically, you can milk a hamster.
Anyway,
Since if we were to fall into the hands of the police, it would be proof of high treason.
let's get back to the whole.
I love how all of us had a difference on what that question meant, yes. Well, Mr. Graydon, do you deny all this actually began on that fateful night 2 months ago? I refuse to accept any of this nonsense. Sir. There appears to be blood seeping through the sleeve of your jacket. What? Ah! 2 nights ago, we know that 3 shots were fired at the scene of the crime in the bank's pawnbroker. Bang! There's the bang, Megan. The life of the pawnbroker taken. One struck in the pouch, the pouch around Sholmes' waist. Thank you, Meg. And the final bullet. Bang! Struck the calendar on the wall of the shop, having first pierced the arm of one of the intruders. Mr. Graydon, that wound on your arm you seem to be trying to hide. It's a bullet wound, isn't it?
How have they hidden this the entire? Why like it just started to bleed now?
Because they said the more he, like, moves around and stuff, he's gonna tear open the wound.
Oh, where you gotta patch it up. Never mind.
Yeah.
Forgot about
He's
that.
got you now, me old China. Time to call it quits and croak, I reckon. Just don't acknowledge my presence there under any circumstances whatsoever. Those are my terms, remember? I paid you handsomely to comply. Clearly, I was a fool to think I could trust someone common backslum thieves. Fine, I admit it. I was there in Windibanks that night. I paid this pair 10 guineas to accompany me, and as you notice, I sustained an injury in the course of my adventures.
He's admitting to robbery.
But that is all. I admit to nothing more. Stealing government secrets, negotiating with the Gilded.
Stop moving, you're gonna bleed more.
As God is my witness, I'm sure I recall nothing of the sort. Ah, not the white suit, no.
You mean
Yeah.
the red suit?
True. Nevertheless, the defense now has established a crucial fact. Which is? Well, we know that one bullet was fired from each of the 2 firearms we have in evidence. Bullet from the Skulkin brothers' gun hit the pouch on Sholmes' waist. And the bullet fired from Windibank's gun clearly must have been the one that caught Mr. Graydon on the arm. And that he's guilty as hell? I know, right? Indeed it must. We can rule out the possibility that the man shot himself. And that leads us to only one conclusion. Mr. Windibank was shot by a third gun, which can only have been fired by the third intruder. I mean, that's some solid logic. That's right, Mr. Graydon. The only person who could possibly have shot Mr. Windibank that night is you. I mean, blood is easy to get out of clothes if you know. It's still going to be a pain in the ass. I don't think that's the problem right now. This man is about to be executed twice over for stealing government secrets and murdering Mr. Windibank. You little upstart. You made the grave mistake when you summoned me here. What? What's that supposed to mean?
He's got a gun.
Yes, as you rightly say. I was there at pawnbrokers. I did my best to hide the fact, naturally. I had no intention of ruining the distinguished career I'd built for myself at the communication station. But did the thought never cross your mind? Did you never consider the possibility? What do you mean? What thought? What possibility? Possibility that if I was there at the scene, I may have witnessed the crucial moment. You see, this makes me a key witness in this case, and I have my firm's hand firmly around the neck of your client. Jesus Christ. You stole all the sequins to make those Nick Cage pillows? Dude, same. I saw the very moment the pickpocket girl pointed the gun at that poor defenseless pawnbroker and shot him. So wait, he just admitted to doing all of those things, and we're gonna trust him? Finally entering the last act of this theatrical trial. Mr. Graydon. Yes. I trust you're fully aware of the implications here. Looks like he just got shot. If it is shown that your claim is false, you will have incriminated yourself as the killer. Oh, I understand fully. And I must ask you to give your formal testimony once more. You'll explain to the court precisely what you saw at the moment the defendant allegedly shot the victim. Nothing would give me greater pleasure. Witness testimony.
Thanks, Jen. Government sequence.
Government sequence. I can't say I like that picture. While the ruffians were jostling with the broker, I was still near the entrance of the shop. When Windibank threw Nash over the counter, I felt a sharp pain in my arm. I pursued the man, but he shut himself in the storeroom. It seemed through the peephole in the door, though. The accused, in a black coat, shot the man back as she was trying to flee to safety. I saw the blood splatter all over the wretched girl. Then she tossed the gun out at the peephole, so I picked it up and made my escape.
Wasn't the gun her? Oh, the third gun.
Yes.
Wait, so that means that he has the third gun.
Yeah. Okay, but why are we believing him if he just lied on the stand for 45 minutes? You know, that's a damn good question.
I know, but I'm glad we listened to some people, because the Skulkin brothers, after lying for a bit, actually did help us.
Yeah.
So, I guess we trust them for some reason?
I ask that question every trial. Wasn't my intention to testify this way. But neither is it my intention to be found guilty of murder I didn't commit. So you see, my hand has been forced. I tell the truth now as an act of self-preservation.
This man keeps doing dances, which are obviously hurting.
Until now, the prosecution was completely unaware of these details. Yes, well, sorry about that. Having shot me in the arm, the pawnbroker was then shot in the back by the accused. And as I said, she was showered in his blood. Say the blood splattered over the accused's coat. Are you sure at that point? Oh yes, quite sure. All over the black overcoat that the pickpocket girl was wearing at the time. Really? Her coat should somehow be shown to harbor vestiges of blood. It could be considered conclusive evidence.
Oh no, another class.
Oh boy.
At least 7's to that class.
Hot man pulls boy band moves to get the ladies to look. Honestly, fair. Such an investigation is entirely possible, my lord. Only very recently, a German scientist has developed a technique to identify human blood. Oh, no, I see. No. I see where this is going. The German scientist has found a way to see blood. They're going to reveal the blood, which we've already determined to be Mr. Mason's on the black jacket. But actually it's going to be seen as human blood, therefore she shot him.
By the way, I'm thinking throw into the glass again. The glass throw into the glass.
I feel like he might just let this one be.
That'd be a Van Zykes first.
Yeah, Scotland Yard says small quantity of the chemical reagent used with your lordship's room. Never mind, you were right.
Into the lamp.
We could shatter all vestiges of doubt within minutes. That doesn't look good, Reno. Why not? Well, we know, don't we, that there's blood all over that front of Jimmy's coat. If they test it with their chemicals. Oh, help. You're right. I was forgetting what happened yesterday. Dude, Van Zykes has wasted so much fucking wine over the span of these cases. I think he's got to be invoicing the government for them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh boy. And this is going to be the new part of the trial. The defense objects to the test proposed by the prosecution. Why would you object to it now? Yeah, overruled. Lord Van Zykes, make it so at once. Yeet bottle. With pleasure, my lord. While we await the results, the defense may proceed with the cross. Oh boy. Once they find that blood on the overcoat, Gina will be... Oh, it's so Jover. Why can't you throw wine glasses? Because I'm some random lowly Nipponese man and he's the Reaper of the fucking Bailey. I don't think I have the, cred.
Are we even old enough to drink wine? Don't. We're just... We need to be able to get this done in the next hour.
Sure. While these ruffians were jostling at the broker, I was still near the entrance of the shop.
Hold it!
Mr. Winterbank emerged from the storeroom, I believe. Ringo and Nash were scouring the counter when suddenly appeared and flew at them. He already had his revolver in hand. Fortunately, I wasn't too close. Never been so scared in my life. Yeah, we're just your regular mild-mannered burglars, that's all. We don't like the violence. It's just the bear who carry a gun.
For intimidation.
What do you mean when you say you were near the entrance to the shop? I was in the doorway, running my eyes over the shelves of forfeited items. Looking for the music box, yep. The broker went for Nash in the first place, then Ringo joined in, making it 2 against 1, so I assumed they can handle the situation. But I was wrong. I was trying to help me little bruv, and the old geezer chucked me over the blooming counter. So I pulled me gun on the old fella, and that soon made him scarper. A pair of you setting upon the poor defenseless pawnbroker together? Shame on you. Sorry, Gov. When Banks threw Nash over the counter, I felt a sharp pain in my arm.
Hold it!
You mean, that's the moment you were shot? Yes, though I didn't immediately realize what had happened, of course. Things crashed to the floor from the counter as 3 men went brawling. It was exactly that moment that it happened, so I didn't hear the gunshot. And the vault went on to strike the calendar in the wall behind her. So it would appear. When I looked at my arm, I saw it was bleeding badly, so I wrapped in my handkerchief around it. Seeing as I couldn't explain what happened to a doctor, I had no choice but to wait for it to heal. I didn't imagine it would still be bleeding 2 days later. Did Winterbank intend to shoot you, do you think? Well, now, I don't imagine he even noticed I was there, to be honest. Anyway, it didn't quite strike home. When I pulled out my gun on him, he tried to shove me out of the way. And then he scarpered through that door out the back. At which point, what did you do? I pursued the man and...
See if they're
Hold it!
You mean you chased after him? I don't recall the reason why, but I ran after him to the back of the shop.
Why just convenient?
What about this peephole in the door you mentioned? Well, unsurprisingly, the storeroom's door is a solid job, made of stout wood. But there's a small opening in it about a head height. Let's just get us in there from the outside. Actually, I should know that, shouldn't I? I was through it myself that night.
Oh my god. I don't see a lot of blood in the coat. I'm just saying.
What about you burgling brothers? Did you see what went on through this peephole as well? Not likely, Gov. Didn't see nothing of the sort, Gov. I doubt these two buffoons were even aware of the peephole's existence.
How convenient.
Yep. Inside the storeroom, I could see the broker and that young girl standing there. The defendant? Yes, then neither of them noticed I was looking. The girl raised her gun and pointed it straight at the man. And then...
This is where Megan comes in. Oh.
he shot the man in the back as he was trying to flee to safety.
Hold it!
There's Megan,
It's
yep.
a bang.
When the crime was discovered, the defendant was found with a gun in her hand. But that was Mr. Windibank's gun, from which only a single bullet had been fired. And as we've already established, Mr. Graydon, that bullet was fired at you. You cued me too early. But no, it wasn't. It was the broker's gun that the pickpocket girl had when I saw her. Yes, the bullet from Windibank's gun grazed my arm, and yes, the Spoken's gun grounded the detective. But this was another gun entirely, a third gun. The broker's gun was not the murder weapon, so clearly there had to be a third. Yes. Yeah, I wish the accused of having one gun at the time.
Objection!
Yeah, what you said.
But no other gun was found at the scene. Calm yourself, counsel. You must consider the events in order. At first I saw the broker and the girl glaring at each other, but then, all of a sudden, the broker turned to run. It was at that moment that the little gutter rat shot him in the back. Chilling image, I must say. My man is an actor, always rejected, never getting the gig. This is the performance of his life. I mean, it's kind of gotta be, because he's kind of on trial to be executed twice. So the blood spatter all over the rich.
Hold it!
All over her? Yes, through the peephole I saw it clearly. Of course, the stains are invisible now, what with the coat being such a dark color. Oh, we have easy proof that it didn't splatter on her. Because if she was wearing the coat, it should hit her shirt underneath the coat. But the stain is only on the coat in question.
I can tell you it's nothing that crazy.
Well, sorry, this is smart. These are my defense strategies.
Yeah, but it's not their defense strategies.
I know. So annoying. They only accept Hurley's chemical analysis to prove that. But they won't. So unfortunately, we can't use it as evidence to support our case. Then she tossed the gun out the peephole, so I picked it up and made my escape.
Yes. Someone fires a gun, throws at the people, you're like,
Did I hear you correctly? She threw the gun out of the room? That's right. After the broker fell to the floor, she started walking over. Over where? The direction of the storeroom door, to where I was watching. Of course, I quickly retreated, and then the girl dropped the gun through the peephole onto the floor by my side of the door. Why on earth would she do such a thing? Couldn't tell you. Perhaps she was hoping to distance herself from the murder weapon. Source, where is your proof? I suppose I was worried about just leaving it there in case any more tragedies took place.
I guess the gun on the other side of the door is going to cause so many tragedies.
So it was you, in fact, who took the third gun from the scene of the crime?
Where is it?
Yes, it was yours truly. I left it on the clear up to my lackeys and left. Clear up? We made a bit of a mess around the counter, so Mr. Whistle and Food here told us to tidy up. He thinks he's our bloomin' mum sometimes. Well, I was paying you enough, by God. Tell me, Mr. Graydon, when you left the pawnbrokery that night, was it by any chance with the second disc in your jacket pocket? You're like a bull at a gate, aren't you?
Correct!
Excuse me?
Excuse me!
Gentlemen? Someone take over bang duty while I'm away. Something wrong, Sunshine? That should be my line. You do realize you were just violently shaking Mr. Skulkin. Blimey, this D's a bit of an hooligan, ain't he? What was that going on just now? You saw him, he grabbed me a whistle. Why the blazes, he said, didn't you mention the third gun when you got down to the station? And why didn't you? Because we didn't know nothing about it, or that flaming people in the door. Sorry about that. I can be prone to losing my rags sometimes. Not hurt, are you? Poor Blimey. See the way he's looking at me? I'm telling you, this dude's giving me the willies. That was strange. The inspector doesn't normally get quite as worked up as that. Wouldn't normally grab someone. No, that wasn't Gregsy at all. He's normally all sweetness and light, no matter what I say to him. Yes, well, I think you might be a special case, Iris. Well, anyway, that was definitely out of character.
That, though, is not. The infinite fish and chips.
My lord. Boy. I have the results of the test. Yup. The blood on the accused's overcoat. Thank you, officer. Very well. The cross-examination is hereby temporarily suspended. Presume you have no objection, counsel? No, my lord.
Recess. Woo.
Well, there you have it.
With
The
his
report,
blood.
please, Inspector. Yes, sir. Traces of human blood were found on the overcoat of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. From the extent of the stains, it would appear that they were the result of spattering following a gunshot wound. End of report.
But doesn't line up with the Zuno's Masons. The Mason was stabbed.
Yeah.
God, these police suck.
See, what did I tell you?
Objection!
No, the blood on the coat is not Mr. Windibanks. What on earth makes you say that, counsel? The coat originally belonged to Magnus McGilden. Just before his coat was deposited at Windibanks, McGilden had fatally stabbed Mr. Mason Milverton. So the blood on that overcoat is the blood of the brickmaker from the omnibus.
Objection!
Well, the dead cannot speak. Isn't that right, my Nibonese friend? Sorry?
Obviously hasn't heard Ouija boards, but okay.
2 months ago, in this very courtroom, did you not argue fervently for McGilden's innocence? And yet now that the man is dead, you brand him as a murderer? Crushed. Your conduct shatters any shred of respect we may have earned for yourself in this country. But that was... You call it a bally disgrace. Treachery is what it is. How to determine whether the blood on that coat is 2 months old or not? A stereoscope can ample.
I feel like 2-day-old blood versus 2-month-old blood's got to
We
look
use
different.
Sholmes' specially formulated chemicals. Sholmes is a detective, not a chemist. Would you put the faith in the chemical formula devised by me, for example, when I'm communications officer? He held out pure rosy to a starving boy. He ran away crying.
Thank you, I shouldn't.
Sherlock Sholmes is barely more than a figment of the public's imagination. His name carries no weight in this courtroom. No weight at all. Why do you say that? Honestly, fair. Victory is sweet indeed. This proves my testimony is the whole truth from start to finish. How do you arrive at such a conclusion, sir? As the witness said, the accused's coat was spattered with the blood of the victim. Only Mr. Graydon could have possibly known that fact as if he saw it happen. In other words, his testimony is solid, and the conclusion is singular. It's the accused who shot the victim in this case. That, the whole truth.
Insects really just does not throw much out besides, yeah, what he said.
Racism. My lord.
Yeah, what he said,
Been a
racism.
long battle, this one, but this old warhorse has something to say now, if you please. Mr. Foreman. As of this moment, sir, the squadron has reached its final decision. Ready, men? All for once now. Sir.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
It's so Jover.
Guilty.
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 It's so Jover.
Well, Gina's getting executed. Bye, guys.
We tried.
We tried damn hard. The defense has consistently failed to unpick this witness's testimony. Here's to any attempt you may make at unpicking the jurors' decisions being equally successful.
He's not gonna throw it?
I don't believe it, after I've come so far. How is it all unraveling on me so fast? How very distressing to be held in such low esteem. Let me guess, it's Susato? Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Bailiff? You deliver the report now, that will be all, thank you. Occurs to me with some regularity, Mr. Naruhodo, that scientific truths are determined not by science, but by none other than the human mind. What the fuck is this random bailiff doing?
Gotta go dance.
Sholmes.
At least that's what I'm going with. Ready to do a little dance?
Mr. Sholmes. What? What is the meaning of this? Oh
Time for a
god,
dance.
don't tell me I have to do a fucking dancing deduction in the courtroom.
No, you don't have to.
Oh, thank god. What business do you have here, detective? The last I heard, you were recuperating in the hospital. As I well would be, had I not been set upon an errand. What errand? Early, it's really you. You're awake. Yes, good day, Iris. I appear to be rather late to rise. My apologies. Now, my lord, if you will humor me. In what manner, sir? I have something of great importance I wish to give to the young lawyer over there. Need no more than 5 minutes. Would you be so kind as to spare us that time? What say you to this, Lord Van Zykes? This trial has taken many hours of the course of time. Having spent so long already... Exactly, having spent so long already, we don't want to go wasting more precious time. As I was saying, having spent so long already, it would seem churlish to deny the defense a mere 5 minutes. Fuck you, Gregson. Very well, counsel, you have 5 minutes. Hi, Sholmes. My dear fellow, I apologize for your tardy arrival. Are you alright now? Alright, I'm all wrong. Sorry? I've only just managed to summon the strength to stand, man. I asked the judge for 5 minutes. But I fear that even that may prove too much for me. Pray forgive, I should pass out. Let's make this discussion as short as possible. Apparently this place is full of idiots. None of them can see how wonderful your chemical blood analysis is. Ah well, that concoction of mine was really just a bit of sport to assist me with my investigation. Never took the trouble to refine it for appraisal by the scientific community. An oversight on my part. Right. Modesty? Surely not. But enough of that. I'm here to give you this, my dear fellow. What is that? A lavender furoshiki wrapping? A leaving present from Miss Susato. If possible, matters were to be settled without me giving you this. Those were her instructions when she asked me to do her this favor. I don't understand. Miss Susato foresaw today's events, I believe. She knew that the culprit would attempt to escape justice by both devious and underhanded means, and that you, Mr. Naruhodo, fighting fairly as you would find yourself in considerable peril. At the very moment of crisis, you were to be given this small parcel. Those were the dear lady's instructions. What the fuck?
It's the third gun.
It's the trapdoor gun?
Yes. Yeah.
Wagga hi. He's got a bow tie.
Hi, Wagga, hi.
So Susato's still there from Iris? The cat flop him at. What is Susie up to? Miss Susato muttered the following words before she left. I'm a failure. I don't deserve to be a judicial assistant. What? Didn't she say something like that? You really are the best judicial assistant in the world. Well, that's extremely flattering. But I'm sorry to say that I've been a complete failure. Susato, where's your proof? Whatever does she mean by that, Sholmes? That night when you left Windibanks in pursuit of thieves, Miss Susato made use of this contraption for a certain purpose. Oh, there wasn't a peephole. Susato put it there.
Why did she do that?
That's a damn good question.
She's really throwing off our entire thing because of that. Okay, another one into the lamp.
Your 5 minutes is over. We're out of time already. Hi, Sholmes. I'm grateful for you to afford us this time, Mr. Reaper. I need no thanks, Detective. After all, the die is cast. Is it really? The jurors are unanimous in their leanings. No doubt my learned friend will consider a summation examination. But any attempt to alter the verdict now would be utterly futile. I wonder... Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. The rest is down to you, dear fellow. What is your plan? Be careful here if you corrupt travel and badly. The defense requests further cross-examination. Further cross-examination.
Objection!
The jurors have spoken. Protocol dictates that you may not cross-examine a new witness now.
Objection!
Not a new witness. Rather to continue with one of our existing witnesses. It would appear that a rather important detail has escaped your attention, Mr. Reaper.
How is Sholmes still standing up? He wasn't even sure he's gonna make 5 minutes. I'm just saying.
I'm just waiting for, like... No. Yep, we suspended the cross-examination. He has to resume his cross-examination. The court is obliged to allow it. This is absurd. There's the fourth bullet, right in Van Zyke's.
Bang.
Bang. I remind those present that this is my courtroom. I concur that the defense is entirely within its rights to request the continuation of the cross-examination. However, I will not permit an unremitting protraction of these proceedings. Therefore, I have decided to afford the defense one final opportunity to conclude the cross.
If you had one chance.
Mom spaghetti. You have but one statement and but one piece of evidence to present. Oh boy.
Luckily, I should be very honest with you.
Yep.
Since you kind of spoiled the whole thing.
I put two and two together.
Spoiled the big reveal.
Spoiled it.
Spoiled it.
A single statement and a single piece of evidence. Most generous. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it's high time I fell into dead faint. I leave this in your capable hands. Mr. Sholmes.
I was waiting to see him lying there on the ground.
I was like, wait, maybe if they pan out further. To stand so insouciantly before the court in a state of such high fever, either the man has extraordinary strength of mind or extraordinary lack of feeling. I imagine he's feeling very little now. The detective is sleeping soundly in one of the antechambers. Strike a man while he's down, why don't you? Well then, counsel, are you fully prepared? I got no choice but to be. Yes, one statement, one piece of evidence. I'll let Sholmes down, or Iris. I won't waste this final chance that Susato-san has given me. I'm going to decide the outcome of the trial. Moment of the shooting again. There it is. Do I need to examine the camera?
Just present it.
Objection!
What on earth is that
We
eccentric?
got 45 minutes. We don't have time to joke around.
Cat flapping that, my lord. It makes way for cats to get in and out of a room. It can cut through any door you can think of. And make a new little door out in the middle of it. That's right, my lord. It's a device for creating the so-called cat flaps. Small doors for cats to come and go as they please, without their owners having to open the main door. I'm sure we can all work that out for ourselves. But that cat lover's contrivance has no possible relevance to the case. Oh, really? Of course it doesn't. To start with, there was no cat flap in the pawnbroker's door. Yeah, that people did seem a little large now that we say it, you know what I mean? Not being a keeper of cats, I've failed to see what this has. Perhaps it would help if I described its function another way then. This contraption is able to create a peephole in any door you can imagine in practically no time at all. Beg your pardon. 2 nights ago, we arrived at the scene only minutes after the murder of Windibank had taken place. That's right. According to the paperwork at the yard, that was you, your Japanese assistant, and Sholmes. Yes, the 3 of us together. And it recently came to my attention that my assistant made use of this device at the time. Your assistant did what? There was a peephole in the storeroom door. I can attest to that. Because I looked through the peephole myself in order to see inside the locked storeroom. This is ludicrous. What are you trying to say? Of course there was a peephole in the door. I said as much as my testimony. How could I have witnessed the crime, for pity's sake? Yes, how could you? Counsel, kindly say what you mean. Alright, it's time. Time to strike the final blow. What I mean is this, my lord. My assistant made the peephole in the storeroom door. And until such a time as she did, the door had no hole to look through. No. Welcome back.
Objection!
Sholmes showed up, and then handed us the cat flop-o-mat, and then, well, I would
Passed
say,
out.
yeah, he passed out dramatically. And then we found out that Susato was actually the one that made the people in the door, which means that he couldn't have seen it because it wasn't there when he was there. Your assistant tampered with the crime scene whilst being fully aware of the gravity of her actions. It was the most serious act of vandalism. For which I humbly apologize, my lord. It was in the few minutes that I left the scene in order to pursue the Skulkin brothers and elect the police. Nevertheless, in the light of this new information, it becomes apparent that Mr. Graydon's testimony is riddled with holes. Riddled with. Explain yourself, counsel. The majority of Mr. Graydon's testimony that appears to incriminate the defendant is based upon what he witnessed through the people. That filthy girl shooting the man in the back. However, if at the time of the incident, that peephole did not yet exist in the door, there's no possible way that you could have seen what you claim to have seen. In short, your entire testimony is a pack of lies. I get it. Order! Order! Is there any credence to this revelation?
Objection!
We knew that, but yeah, we just had to prove it. None whatsoever, as my learned friend must surely realize. Exactly. It's just some cheap trick designed to discredit me. I'm afraid not, sir. Of course it is. Do you seriously expect people to believe that that plaything can cut through a solid wooden door? Oh yes, I designed it to be very powerful. It can cut even through the toughest of doors. It's absurd. I don't believe it for a second. Haha, I had a feeling you'd say that. What? Waggy, gooey. Time for dinner.
Oh.
Hi, Wagga, hi. Well, young lady, this is the Old Bailey. One does not make cat flaps in the oak paneling of the Old Bailey. I'm not done yet, don't worry. This doesn't mean that the peephole in the storeroom door at Windibanks is made by your machine. And there's no way you can prove that it was. No, but it's easy. What? The cat flaps my creates are all of a fixed size, and the dimensions of the peephole at Windibanks is the exact match. Hehe, old Silky's lost for words. Kitty, yes, that's Wagga High. He's a friend. He's got a bow tie. And now I learned student friends turn to be lost for words. I believe your judicial assistant has already left the country for your Eastern Island home. Well, yes, that's true. And you may have some difficulty in establishing all of the facts. For the sake of argument, let us assume that the peephole has dimensions that are a perfect fit for this contraption. In that case, when was the peephole cut? The prosecution demands proof. Yeah, that's the kind of purpose. It's very simple, my lord. The defense argues that the peephole was created after the incident using this device. But now we know that the perpetrator has returned to her native land. She cannot testify to the fact. There is no proof. and as long as the defense remains unable to prove when the peephole was made, Nyler and Friend's claim amounts to nothing more than a baseless accusation.
I'm sure it was quite based.
Is that so, Lord Manzikes? Well, counsel, look it up now. This is the time to create your own and force your way through.
Like a cat flap-o-matic.
Oh my god. Very well. Counsel for the defense will present evidence to support the claim made. Ah. That would work.
Take that!
What are you? A print from the detective's infernal cameras again? My judicial assistant, Miss Susato Mikitoba, is an extremely intelligent and capable woman, which is why I never had any cause to doubt. But she would have considered this scenario and made sure I had the necessary proof. The necessary proof is this photographic print, counsel? This print shows a scene from the shop moments after the defendant entered the premises. Agreed. And it also shows the accused mercilessly wielding a gun in the direction of the defenseless broker. But, more to the point, it pictures the storeroom door in the background. I can't believe it. It really is quite remarkable. The door to the storeroom is completely devoid of any people. Mr. Graydon? You couldn't possibly have witnessed the crime as you claimed to have done, because at the time it happened, there was no people in the door. In other words, your testimony, the catalog of lies. Oh boy, it's time for the freak out. I love how they centered him just for that, only to slide him over to the right in the next shot.
Just let him have his freak
I'm
out.
satisfied that the defense has substantiated his claim beyond all reasonable doubt. His witness's testimony was entirely fallacious. That's not the only thing we now know beyond all reasonable doubt. I learned Friend's assistant's guilt can no longer be denied. The woman's tampered with the crime scene. I mean, yeah, but she didn't know it was a crime scene at the time. More importantly, good lord, there's more. The defense may have established a reprehensible instance of perjury, but that is no proof that this man is the victim's killer. I mean, it literally is. Yes, that's right. I was there at the scene, it's true. And I was shot in the arm, it's true. Well, that's all. Yes, in fact, if you look at the circumstances, I am the victim here. Oh, please. I don't believe this. But they're right. As it stands now, I don't have any definitive proof that he is the culprit. Can't worm his way out of it now. You know what they say. There's no point locking the cat's door after the cat is bolted. I've never heard that expression before. But as Hurley always says, one lie begets another. No, wait, that might be a line I wrote for him in my stories. Well, no matter who said it first, you're right. Mr. Graydon, not only did you give false testimony to the court, the lies you told make no sense. Make no sense? What do you mean by such a remark? What you said in your testimony reveals that you know something you shouldn't have known. In other words, there's a fundamental inconsistency in your statements.
Objection!
This is provocative talk, counsel. Won't you enlighten the court? Explain this alleged inconsistency.
Give me a minute, Van Sykes.
The inconsistency is revealed by the lies in the witness's statements. They show that Mr. Grady had knowledge of something he shouldn't have known anything about, namely, the third gun. The bloodstains. Because how would he have seen the bloodstains? That's right, the victim's blood splattered all over her when she shot him. But how could you have seen that? Obviously, because I saw her do it through the peephole. The point is not that you lied in your testimony, Mr. Graydon. It's the nature of the lie you concocted that's so revealing. You're not making any sense. Let me ask you a simple question. How is it, Mr. Graydon, that you knew of the existence of the peephole in the storeroom door? What? Well, obviously, Has the cat got your tongue, witness? The peephole in the door was made after the incident occurred. Once I returned to the shop, having failed to catch the two burglars, Scotland Yard's investigators arrived immediately. Since that time, the police have been at Windibanks constantly carrying out their investigation. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson? Well, yes, of course. The place is chock full of pawned articles, and my lads have to thoroughly examine them all. So I gave the order to have officers working around the clock, in shifts as we get through it all. And consequently, there's no way that you, Mr. Graydon, could have gained access to the shop. Therefore, you should have known nothing about the people in the storeroom door. So in fact, its existence forms the basis of your testimony. It's completely inexplicable.
Objection!
And yet, the fact remains that Mr. Graydon did maintain that he witnessed the crime take place through the people in the door. How on earth is that possible? Could I have a word, please, Lord Van Sykes? Oh no. Speak, Inspector. It's just that I really ought to be getting back to the station now to put it in my report. There's really nothing more I can add to this testimony, so it's all the same to you. Permission denied. It's not all the same to me, Inspector. Not at all. I like that Van Sykes is just pissed off enough that he's just like, fuck it, we'll play ball. Of course, sir. Mr. Graydon, you shouldn't have known about the existence of that peephole. Which can only mean that you must have been informed about it by someone else.
Objection!
Stop there, my learned friend. You realize, I trust, that the words you just uttered have extremely serious implications. But the defense believes that the details about the case that Mr. Graydon claims to have seen must have been revealed to him by a certain person before his testimony. And in fact, considering a particular clue we have, there's really only one person it could be. Gregson.
I just wanted to leave for no specific reason.
Well, it's also the fact that they were literally conspiring.
Take that!
The truth is, it can only have been you, Inspector Gregson. Me?
Objection!
You better have some proof to substantiate such a rash claim, my friend. Consider the fact that we have only been aware of Mr. Ashley Green's identity for the last few hours. We learned only of it during the course of the trial today. Indeed, preparations for his testimony were made with great urgency due to our hour-long recess. While the police executed the subpoena and brought him in from the communication station, and until that time, Graydon would have had no idea. No inkling that he would suddenly be required to appear in court. Are you suggesting that until such a time as he was summoned? Yes, my lord. Until then, it's reasonable to assume he knew nothing of the people. It was only once Mr. Graydon was in the stand that he realized his position, that he would have to defend himself against the accusations that he was the third intruder. You're suggesting to the court that it was while this trial was in progress that he received the information, so he could commit perjury in order to save his skin? Exactly. And the person with knowledge of the investigation that had any contact with it is you, Inspector Gregson. This is a bloomin' outrage. Why would I be giving away details of our investigations to this fella? I was summoned to his lordship's chambers during that recess in any case. Had you forgotten that? Quite true. I had a number of questions regarding the events that transpired at the pawnbrokery. Which means, the first time these two laid eyes on one another was after proceedings resumed. Since then, they've been in full view of the stand, where such illicit discussions couldn't have occurred. Bullshit, we literally saw them.
It's okay, because we said excuse me.
Yeah,
Excuse me?
I think it was Ginny was testifying. Oh yeah, now you mention it. When the bailiff was dispatched to retrieve McGilda's music box.
How convenient!
That's it. It was during that testimony. I remember finding it strange at the time. that Graydon and the inspector seem to be having some kind of a secret discussion. Would have been possible for you to give Mr. Graydon the information needed then. You little toe rag, you're making all this up. I'm a respectable Scotland Yard inspector for crying out loud. Why would I do something like that? Why would I be giving away confidential details to the likes of this bloke? Admittedly, he wouldn't have had any reason to do something like that for no gain. But perhaps it was part of a deal of some kind. Then it starts to make sense. What deal, counsel? I wonder if perhaps in exchange for details about the people at the crime scene, Mr. Graydon agreed to give a certain something to the inspector. Oh, the second disc.
It's all making sense. It's all coming together.
I'm sure I need not remind the inspector that if found to be true, striking a deal with any kind of witness would be considered a gross case of malfeasance. Well,
Objection!
Objection. It's becoming clear that jumping in with the accusations is this Nipponese student's specialty. I don't do that, but with the stakes so high, the prosecution is not prepared to listen to baseless charges. It is incumbent on the defense now to present evidence in support of this diabolical claim. Evidence? Just what are you proposing that the inspector demanded of the witness in return? The court must see proof of this alleged deal. Fade to black. Then logically, there's only one thing he could have asked for. That must be it. Do you think he could be? Yes. The missing link that would join all the dots together in this puzzle. My God. I must press you for an answer now, counsel. What evidence explains the nature of this alleged deal? It would have to be the music box disc.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Take
thought
that!
so. Inspector Gregson? Besides this murder, is it not true that you've been working on another very important case? What are you getting at now, Sunshine? Is it possible that this other top-secret case is what's alluded to in this newspaper article here? This classified secrets being leaked overseas from the Ministry of Justice? How the bleeding Nora could you? We discovered during the course of this trial the music box deposited at Windibanks by Magnus McGilded. A special music box designed to play 2 discs at once. Seemed very likely now that the encoded on the pair of discs was that were in McGilded's possession are the leaked classified secrets. So I put it to you, Inspector, that in order to recover the second of the disc containing those secrets, you covertly made a deal with Mr. Graydon in which you exchanged the disc for details of the case. You will. Damn, everyone on this witness stand is a fucking criminal.
So how the least criminal people are the thieves that broke in the school.
Yeah, I know. On the day of the incident, when we met you at Windibanks, you said this. I'll be taking that whatever it is in McGilded's down to the yard, thank you very much, so hand it over. No, don't give it to him. It's mine, it is. It's mine. Sorry, miss, but anything belonging to McGilded has to be taken in as evidence now. Scotland Yard already knew at the time, isn't that right? That Magnus McGilded was involved in the stealing of government secrets. My orders were, recover the medium used to convey the secrets leaked from the Ministry, and do it on the QT, strictly hush-hush. That explains why, when I presented this disc as evidence to the court, you objected so heavily, I presume. Because you knew that it contained highly confidential information. Blimey, not likely. I mean, wasn't sure of it myself. I realized that there was a possibility, that's all. Inspector, surely you're not saying that in order to acquire the second of these music box discs, you did indeed reveal confidential details of the crime scene to the witness, to aid and abet this man in giving false testimony? There's no other way that Mr. Graydon could have known of the existence of the people. The only explanation, a deal was struck between these two men.
Objection!
If, and I stress if, this sobering assertion turns out to be founded in truth, it would mean that the second disc is, as we speak, here in this very courtroom. Wait, what? In this room? How could you possibly make a claim like that? If Inspector Gregson is a Scotland Yard detective. What's that supposed to mean, eh? As a seasoned policeman, the inspector will have approached this alleged deal with caution. Certainly he would not have accepted a gentleman's agreement in this manner. No, he would have insisted on having the article agreed upon in the palm of his hand. You mean to say, Inspector Gregson already has the item in question in his possession. He has a second disc on his person.
Yes!
The defense demands the inspector is searched at once. Definitely. We could have only struck a deal with each other when Ginny was testifying before. Gregsy hasn't moved from the witness stand since. My lord, please. Order an examination of his personal effects immediately. Well, Inspector? This young lad wants to tone down his imagination. He's insulted me and my profession quite enough. However, it'll put this matter to bed and dispel any doubts of my involvement. I'll happily submit to a body search. Oh, fuck, what now?
What do you mean, what now? It ain't obvious. Why would he be so cool with us searching him?
Because he doesn't have it on him.
But where is it? He never moved the witness stand.
He's gotta be with the Skulkins. Because he's the third Skulkin brother.
Yeah, that's the reason. No other reason. Like the aggressive shakedown.
You're just threatening Runo because you're scared. Damn. Iris calling out the government. The accusation is beyond serious. You must be prepared for grave consequences. It's true. I can't imagine Gregson would have accepted a gentleman's agreement for something so critical. This must have physically changed hands. I'm sure if the inspector should have it. But somehow, something doesn't feel quite right here. Very well, counsel. You know the implications, so let me ask you one final time. Yes, my lord. Do you still persist in formally requesting a search of the inspector's personal effects? Search someone else. Boom. Yes, the defense formally demands the search to be conducted. Well, don't say you weren't warned, but your typical Nipponese stubbornness may well land you in hot water this time. Perhaps the lesson will do you some good. Fair enough. I got nothing to hide. Very well then. Bailiff, conduct a search on the inspector's personal effects.
Objection!
Objection. The defense demands a search, but not of Inspector Gregson. What? Now what's all this? I'm the one you're accusing, aren't I? Thought you wanted to search me.
No.
No, Inspector, not you. Somebody else. What's the meaning of all this? Lost it out of you. The court shouldn't have to put up with this nonsense. You're being completely irrational. Be quiet, all of you. Iris? He's doing what you all told him to do and having the courage of his convictions. You should show the respect and listen to what he has to say in good faith. Because that's the British way. I don't feel like that's accurate.
I was concerned as soon as you pull out the gun because...
Well said, young lady. Indeed, this court is in awe of the defense counsel's conviction and eagerly awaits his next words. What? If I'm not mistaken about the things I've seen in court today. Yep.
The aggressive shakedown.
Yep. I request a mild strong heart. Nash Skulkin.
Take that!
Of my lord, Mr. Nash Skulkin. Oh, I never. Eh? Me? Him? Well then, bailiff. Restrain the witness and conduct a thorough search of his personal effects.
Hold it!
Please, my lord. Inspector, Scotland Yard, has to object to this search.
Objection!
Unfortunately for you, Inspector, your objections carry no weight here. In this courtroom, only the prosecution and the defense have the authority to object. But Lord Van Zykes, I have no idea what forces are in play that might influence your actions. But personally, I have no intention of obstructing the course of this trial. Van Zykes is really going to get him sent on a 5-year exile again. Bailiff, conduct your search. Now, hold on a mo. I don't know nothing. Nothing about no disc. Cut it out. Ah! Here, my lord. In the witness's pocket. Found this. Good lord, that's Another music box disc. I don't know nothing about it. Nothing. That is the second music box disc left behind by Magnus McGilded. Is it not, Inspector Gregson? Eh. There's so many
freakouts.
fish and chips.
I was going to say 2 freakouts within like 5 minutes of each other.
Order. Mr. Skulkin, what do you have to say for yourself? Gordon Bennett, I mean, just Gordon Flamin' Bennett. I swear I didn't know nothing about that disc, honest to God. Counsel, would you please explain why exactly this is going on here? The alleged deal that was struck between this witness and this detective now. Without question, my lord. Then for pity's sake, why on earth does this man have the disc? Gregson is a shrewd, calculating man who rarely loses his composure. But at one particular point during the trial, he exhibited some unusual behavior for a brief moment. I don't recall what unusual behavior. It was, yes, during my cross-examination of Mr. Graydon. Unlike America, justice is always served here. Yeah, baby. America, wait. I admit to nothing of the sort. Mr. Graydon answered my questions. The inspector appeared to have grabbed Nash Skulkin by his coat and was shaking him violently. Yeah, you didn't know. I thought when my noggin was gonna fall clean off, I did. I was wishing I'd been born as me brother I was. What exactly happened to make the detective attack you like that? I ain't got a clue. He just suddenly turned and grabbed me, whistled like that, and started shaking me. Why the blazes didn't you mention the third gun when he got you down to the station? That's what he said. Yelled it right down my ear hole, he did. My head's still throbbing now. The way the detective behaved then was extremely out of character. Looking back now, it must have been that he did it. That was the opportunity Inspector Gregson created for himself in order to hide the disc. Well, bless my wig, he hid it. But I'm afraid I fail to comprehend the motive here. If the detective had acquired the disc he was after, why on earth would he then proceed to hide it? This is a court of law. He could have submitted the item as evidence. It would appear, my lord, that the inspector was not at liberty to do that. Why ever not? As the man himself revealed earlier, his current assignment has some special conditions. My orders were, recover the medium used to convey the secrets leaked from the ministry, and do it on the QT. Strictly hush-hush. Hush-hush? A top-secret assignment, is it? As far as we're aware, the information stolen comes from confidential government communications. It would seem that if the information were to be revealed in court as evidence, it would be problematic. Does that sum up the situation, Inspector? I'm operating under direct orders from the Ministry. I'm afraid I'm not at liberty to answer that question. So, realizing there was a chance that you may be searched here in court, you took steps to hide the disc that you had acquired from the witness. Does this mean you only pretended to attack Mr. Skulkin in order to get close enough to him to slip the second disc into his pocket? So it was all a pretense. Well now, Inspector Gregson, and you, Mr. Graydon, are you prepared to admit to the accusation made of you of all this alleged deal? Admit to it? Yours truly, please. Oh my fucking god. Clearly our Eastern visitor has an uncommonly active imagination. However, there's no proof that I passed that disc to the inspector.
Objection!
But then, how do you explain the reason why you knew about the people? I'm under no obligation to explain.
You literally are, though?
Yes, I lied in my testimony. That I admit, so sentence me accordingly. But that is all I admit. I mean, honestly, he's being rather shrewd about this whole thing. He might be the most intelligent Phoenix Wright, witness I've ever seen, but that being said,
You haven't met the murderer or the killer whale that speaks.
that's true. Well, what about you then, Inspector Gregson? Do you admit to making a deal with Mr. Graydon in order to acquire the disc? Ladies and gents of the jury, as a Scotland Yard inspector, I will declare this and nothing more. I'm acting in the best interest of the country. Whatever I've done, it's been in the name of justice. That sounds like a tacit admission of guilt to me. So as members of the public of this fine country, I'd like to think that justice will be your guiding light when you're making their decisions. He's not even from England.
Russia's basically the same as England, right?
Rarely have I encountered such extraordinary tumultuousness in the concluding of a trial. Nevertheless, in the absence of any further evidence to be presented, I believe it is time that we put the matter to the jury for their final meanings. Well now, as a fellow servant of Queen and country, I must say I sympathize with the old inspector. Yes, he's a dependable man, I'm quite sure. In service, one becomes a good judge of character. Even crossing your eyes doesn't help when it comes to looking at this case. It's all blurred to me. Well, as a fellow professional, I'd like to put my faith in the detective, really. Graydon is a highly skilled operator, stop. Currently in presence of idol, stop. The detective have very much trust in his eyes. More than this I cannot say. I don't believe that these 6 jurors are... They're gonna believe Gregson if they declare their decision now. Ginny's going to get executed. Either some proof that Graydon killed the bank or stole those government secrets. Or some evidence to force Gregson into admitting he struck a deal with the witness. Well then, counsel, I think it's time I imposed on the jurors to declare their final decisions now. That is, unless you have some compelling evidence you have. Of course I do. I don't know what it is, but I have something.
You definitely do.
Gregson or Graydon? Fuck. I'm genuinely at a fucking loss.
Well, Graydon's gonna deny everything.
Yeah, that's
Gregson,
true.
we have a chance.
That's true. Inspector Gregson, there's one final piece of evidence I'd like you to see. What's that then? If you refuse to acknowledge that you did in fact strike a deal with the witness here today, then you leaves no choice but to examine this piece of evidence thoroughly. Well, go on. Is it the fucking music box?
We're gonna have some government secrets next.
Oh boy, let's do it!
Either you admit it or we leak the
Oh
government
no,
secrets.
I'm seeing where this goes. If we have to play the disc, we're playing it in front of the fucking Russian. We're leaking the government secrets to Russia to save a gutter snipe. God damn.
That is, unless Gregson admits it, then we don't have
That's
to
true.
play the evidence.
Is that Matilda's peculiar music box, counsel? Yes, with a disc already in place, ready to play. I think perhaps now would be a good time to listen to the sound produced by the new music box again. Only this time, with the second disc we just discovered set in place as well. Yes, disc counsel? Hold it! No, wait, I can't let you do that.
Government
Why not?
secrets. You
Because,
did.
well, because it's got nothing to do with this case. That's why.
Objection!
Not true, Inspector. The defense has already proposed that this sound heard by the court earlier from this music box were part of a Morse code message. We know that Morse code comprises of 2 distinct tones. The defense believes the second disc contains the second tone needed to complete the message. Now we have a chance to confirm that theory. Crying out loud, Sunshine, we're talking about state secrets here. You go letting the whole courtroom hear confidential information like that, it's treason. Then you admit the charge. And that, in order to protect those state secrets, you engage in unlawful dealings with the witness. You're mad. Dog, it ain't treason if I'm not a Brit. If you let that secret information out into public domain, you'll be making an enemy of the entire British government, you idiot.
Objection!
Let's not forget, Inspector, that you, a Scotland Yard officer, leaked confidential case details to a witness. That you continue to lie to the court, and all because by fair means or foul you're determined to do your duty. Well, by fair means or foul, I'm prepared to do mine. Don't you dare. I will stop at nothing to protect my client. I don't care who I make an enemy of. I like how he's just sitting here like, yeah, this is a thing. My lord, if you please, the court must hear the sounds made by that music box. Come on, Van Zyx, for Pete's sake, stop him.
Objection!
Boot.
Inspector, you should know my methods by now. I'm a prosecutor. I'm no Scotland Yard puppet. In this courtroom, my duty is to the law. So let me propose a toast to uncovering the truth. By fair means or foul. Oh my god, we're straight up outing government secrets.
Almost Gregson admits it, then we have to have
Very
it.
well, the defense stance here and that of the prosecution has been made very clear, I feel. Therefore, in accordance with the defense's request, the court will now listen to the music box set in operation once more. This time with the second disc in place, and both displaying simultaneously.
Is he gonna say something, or are we just gonna leak them secrets? Oh, he's just letting it happen.
Yeah, I know, I was honestly expecting. Hold it! Alright, I admit it. Whatever you want, but for the love of God, shut the blooming box up. I think he still didn't think we were gonna go with it. Let me ask you again then, Inspector Gregson. Did you, or did you not, strike a deal with the witness next to you in the stand, Mr. Ashley Graydon? Specifically, did you furnish the witness with confidential case details in exchange for this music box disc? Did you reveal the existence of the people in the pawnbroker storeroom door, Inspector? I did. Stop, what are you doing, man? It's all exactly like the young Eastern lawyer said. When the trial resumed after recess and we were stood here in the stand together, that's when he approached me with the deal. Shut up, you imbecile. Shut up. Psst, you there. You're the detective who turned up at the pawnbroker the other day, aren't you? I may have something you're looking for, Inspector, with me at this very moment. So how about a trade? I suggest you accept. Or information that might make certain individuals uncomfortable will soon become very public indeed.
It already almost was.
I kind of partially was. Couldn't let that information become public knowledge, not under any circumstances, so I accepted the man's proposal and told him the details about the case that should have put him in the clear. The peephole in the storeroom door, and that bloodstains on the overcoat. By giving false testimony, this witness intended to have the defendant wrongly accused of murder. Inspector, you knew that. Yet you still revealed those details to facilitate the witness's perjury. I did. But then it turned out the people had only been made at night after the incident took place. Scotland Yard wasn't aware of that, if I'm perfectly honest. Well, Mr. Graydon, what do you mean to say for yourself? There's nothing and no one left for you to hide behind. You struck a deal with the inspector in order to escape conviction of a very serious crime. Namely this. You are the third intruder who broke into the pawnbroker in the night in question. And you perpetrated the murder of the proprietor, Mr. Pop Windabank. You... Traitor! Bailiff, take him down. Take him down, Bailiff.
We have like a katana.
Bailiff, restrain that man at once. He said, let me do another murder. That's it then, it's all over.
Hey, you just got an attempted murder charge slapped onto your already murder charge, plus leaking government secrets, plus ratio.
Yep. Despise my life growing up. Those slums are vile places. I was cursed from birth, born into poverty, the son of a penniless artisan. My parents did nothing but quarrel all day long. What little money they had was never spent on me.
So that's why you stole government secrets? I don't think that makes up for
So I
it.
set about studying, to better myself, to one day escape from that hellhole. You eventually became a communications officer. I admire your determination. But then you decided to try and sell government secrets? Why? Isn't it obvious? Because I wanted money. Even now, years later, nightmares of my life in the slums wake me in small hours. I wanted to drown them out with more money than anyone who lived in the squalor could ever imagine. Then one day I met him. Mr. Magnus McGilden.
Top of the morning to you, laddies.
Jacksepticeye, it's him. You're a fiend with acquired talent, so you are. I've money to throw your way if you're interested. All you need to do is go along with me little plan now. Sounds like a fucking genie with an Irish accent. I was to steal the ministry's telegraphic message logs, and McGilded would buy them for a handsome sum. As I was responsible for inspections of the military's communication office, it's a simple enough task. The lure of the devil's offerings, how easy it is to succumb. But you must surely realize the seriousness of the crime you're committing.
I just realized that you pulled out the
Oh,
thing.
fuck.
It's gonna take me an hour to get back.
Shut the fuck up, Trevor. And for that reason, I took great lengths to ensure my actions were untraceable. Trevor, going through the murder confession, you're making me laugh.
Because you. God, you. Gosh.
I was denying it, but it really is. Whatever. By using the music box. My father was a brickmaker, though my mother divorced him when I was still a child. Yes, Mr. Mason Wilbert. That's right. He was very skilled with his hands. I went too far over, that's why. He'd once been a music box maker's apprentice. I imagined his skills would be sufficient to create a machine that could generate Morse code. So I sought out my father again to employ his services.
It's so much harder when I'm not sitting.
It was the first time I'd seen him since I left the slums 10 years earlier. Oh, there it is.
God.
Look at you, Ashley. What a fine gent you've become, eh? He was a different man to the one in my memory. A thin, frail old man. But poverty had never broken him, never corrupted him like it had me. I was sure he wouldn't help me if I told him the real reason. So I made up a story. I've got some work for you, Father. I need some music box discs made. Music box discs, eh? A musician friend of mine has written some music he wants to sell to the public. I brought the score with me. There are two, actually. Be delighted, son. It's been 20 years since I did any work like this, though. Fetch my tools, would you? They're in the loft. That's how I had him make the two discs. Thereby splitting the information in two, you were taking considerable precautions indeed. Just to protect myself as much as anything. I meant I could deal with McGilded in two separate transactions. The first involved the first of the two discs and the music box for playing them. I exchanged them with McGilded for 10 guineas. Then on receipt of the second disc, he would pay 1,000 guineas. So what happened on the omnibus 2 months ago was the second part of the deal, the exchange of the second disc. Yes, I sold the man information that way a number of times already, but it seems he became reluctant to part with his money. That doesn't quite make sense, Mr. Graydon. For why is it that on the omnibus 2 months ago, your father was the one dealing with Mr. McGilded and not yourself? When I received 1,000 guineas after my first completed dealings with McGilded, I decided to give 200 to my father for his troubles. But my father realized something was amiss. In time, he worked out that I must be involved in something dubious. And when he did, he said to me,
Oh, jeez.
Did I fuck it up?
You fucked it up enough that we're now stuck on that.
Oh, god damn it.
Oh, God, Alex, what are you... We are like 3 minutes from finishing this, and this is when you decide to kill the thing. It's not even Did you mess with something else?
I didn't touch it.
Your capture device. It's not even seeing the capture device. Oh my god. Alright. How did you manage
I
this?
just pulled this out on accident.
Do a full-on hard reset of the thing. We are minutes from finishing this.
The mental breakdown supercut inbound.
Pops up there. Now I try this again. Video capture device. Yes. Down to like -20. You can do your thing as I fix this here.
Next time there's an exchange, you'll let your old man do it, understand? Otherwise, I won't take your money anymore.
Okay, you should be
That was my father's way of dealing with it, I suppose. Climb into the omnibus, hand over the second disc, take the money from McGilded. That's it. He had no idea what was actually on the discs I'd asked him to make. He never knew. Just like I'd never know why everything went so horribly wrong that night. All I know is that the disc was taken from him, and he never returned home. What did you do? Insert IT stuff.
Somehow unplugging your headphone. That's with the thing that connects the thing to the laptop. So I had to hard reset that, all because you unplugged some headphones.
Accident! Oh my god. It was only then that I found out what sort of monster McGilded really was. So after 10 years of not uttering it once, I swore on my father's name. To exact revenge. Revenge? Oh, another wine glass. As anyone with even the remotest knowledge of the man will no doubt be able to imagine, McGilded brought all of his wealth and influence to bear in the most despicable of ways. Another crushed glass. To crush any semblance of justice in his trial. The crime scene was tampered with, evidence was fixed, and witnesses were bribed. That trial 2 months ago was a farce from start to finish. My feet had barely touched British soil back then. I walked into that hornet's nest completely unaware of the sinister background to it all. I'd made plenty of money out of my dealings with McGilded by then, so I spared nothing in my arrangements 2 months ago. I knew exactly who to hire. If you're willing to pay the price, there are people in this city willing to do anything you ask. McGilded himself had shown that. Are you saying that? I think you have the picture now. After he twisted everything in his favor in the courtroom to ensure he walked free, I took matters into my own hands and delivered the justice that monster deserved. Wait, he was the one that locked McGilded in the omnibus and set him on fire? It was planned and executed by yours truly.
This man just admitted to another murder.
I guess if you're going down, you might as well go down in a blaze of glory, pun intended. McGilded's death that day was caused by this man. What's this, officer? Just sooner than I was led to believe. I hope it's not inconvenient, sir. There were some changes to the schedule. Well, I must be making tracks now. Just time for the inspection. They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. So that policeman who came to tell McGilded he could examine the omnibus again. That's right, an imposter, hired by me. McGilded used his wealth to manipulate the trial. He paid people to adulterate the omnibus with all manner of false evidence. He threatened witnesses to lie on their testimony. So I gave the man a taste of his own medicine. Once the omnibus was doused in paraffin, one of my sham policemen ushered McGilded inside and sent him out on a one-way journey to hell. Wait, his cane's fixed again. An eye for an eye. That's how I avenged my father's death. A spine-chilling account, indeed. But that wasn't the end of it for me. There was a lot of loose ends, you see. Yes, I should think it's obvious. The second disc, which my father had taken to exchange with McGilded. Ah, yes. There was indeed no mention of it in the man's trial 2 months ago. Clearly because it had been removed from the scene of the crime. When I realized it was missing, I remembered something. Something from the first time I dealt with McGilded. This is the first of 2 discs, and you need the music box to play them. Well, look at that now. What an ingenious little invention. So then, as promised, 10 guineas for you, young man. What's this? Wendy Banks Pawnbrokery? Aye, it is a pawnbroker's ticket, so it is. You can use it to redeem an article I've deposited there for you. There's no need to give a name, just hand over the ticket and tell the fiend the watchword. Put a jewel in pawn for you. It'll fetch a good 10 guineas if you sell it, so it will. Never heard of a pawnbrokery being used in quite that way before. Have you not, Mr. Graydon? London's pawnbrokeries are very useful places, you know. Each one is like an extremely secure vault. So I knew that if he'd taken steps to hide the disc, it would be that pawnbrokery somewhere. And on the night he killed my father, he must have entrusted the ticket to someone. Yeah, to Gina. I remember now. That's when we first met you at Windibanks that afternoon 2 days ago. You had a description of Miss Lestrade written down. How did you know who you were looking for? From the trial, that pickpocket's testimony was clearly peculiar. Anyone could see that. I realized immediately she was another of McGilda's pawns. They must have threatened her somehow. I was fairly convinced it would be her who had the ticket, so I started to make some inquiries. I had a strong suspicion that the girl would come out of the woodwork to redeem the object on the redemption deadline. And yes, sure enough, she did. All I needed to do was wait until the girl went to Windibanks to redeem the articles. Unfortunately, she redeemed only McGilden's overcoat, that one disc that was in his pocket. The all-important music box and second disc was missing, as it had already been forfeited 2 days earlier. But I was unaware of that fact. Had I not been, I could have avoided my nighttime excursion. Meanwhile, as our investigation into the stolen government secrets was progressing, I picked up on the fact that McGilda was involved. Inspector, you've recovered fast. My orders to recover the stolen information as quickly as possible, so we started gathering the fellow's possessions and examining whatever we could lay our hands on. We had a full-scale investigation going on at the yard, and we had to keep it as quiet as it could. Then, when the inspector here took the disc from me in the pawnbrokery that day, I became nervous. I was so sure the music box and second disc were still there in the shop somewhere, so I knew it was a race against time. I had to find those articles before the police did. So that's what prompted you to break into the place that same night. With the help of your old friends, the Skulkin brothers. What happened that night in the pawnbrokery I can only describe as a nightmare. While Nash and Ringo were searching the counter, I'd located the music box I'd sold to McGilda on the shelves of forfeited items. And the second disc was inside? Yes. I slipped it into my pocket with a very deep sigh of relief. But then, something entirely unexpected happened. What are you doing in my shop? Bang! There it is, Meg.
And it wasn't on. He didn't use it on himself.
A gunshot rang out in the shop, and I felt a sharp pain in my left arm.
Did McGilda try and
Broker
summon
fired his gun, and the bullet pierced your limb.
Did Windibanks try and summon his persona?
Yeah. Yes, exactly, but unfortunately, I decided to bring my own gun with me that night, just in case. Bang. Before I knew what was happening, I'd fired back. The men had already turned to flee. I hadn't intended to fire in his direction, much less kill him. But unfortunately for both of us, the bullet hit home. It struck him in the middle of his back as he fled through the storeroom door for refuge. Sorry, Tail. It all took place in the blink of an eye. Don't imagine Nash and Ringo even realized what had happened at first. I was terrified, so I fled. And that's the whole story. That's everything that happened at Windibanks on the wretched night. Flashbang. Flashbang.
Oh no, not
Flashbang.
We did it.
This man is about to be put to death like 5 times.
But at least our friend isn't. And we nearly leaked
Yeah,
government
she's gonna
secrets
get
to do
arrested for perjury.
so. We nearly leaked government secrets for that.
A man who used his wealth and influence to distort the facts and escape justice for the crime of murder. What tragic irony. For what you have done is exactly the same. You've become the very monster you saw and despised so deeply in McGilda. Yes, I think I have. Well, this has been a long and exhausting trial. I could say that again. However, it would seem that at last we have arrived at the truth. Inspector Gregson, what of Mr. Ashley Graydon? He's been restrained, my lord, and is being escorted to the yard. He'll be charged with the murder of Windibank, the stealing of government secrets. What about McGilda's murder? And you, Inspector, regrettably, you will have to face charges yourself. Yes, my lord. Of course. Transpires that you are complicit of helping a criminal escape justice. The fact remains whether or not you were doing so in the line of duty. The crime is a serious one, Inspector, and inexcusable. Now to the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. Yeah? It's time for the final adjudication. Is the jury ready, Mr. Foreman? Yes, sir. Gyarados Squadron standing by, sir. This is it, really, now. The last push. Final call. Finishing whistle. The men are ready to deliver their verdicts. Thank you, Mr. Foreman. Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You'll now declare your final decisions to court.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Oh, Grandpa's gonna head
Not
the
guilty.
again.
Yep. I was really waiting for the Russian to be like, guilty.
I didn't get to hear government secrets.
That's the stuff. I'm off the hook. Finally is the word. I really wasn't sure if we'd come out on top for a while there. Susie was right. You're the best lawyer. No, you're not. Miss Lestrade, I'm not finished with you yet. What are you looking at me like that for? Before you start enjoying your freedom, there are certain other crimes to consider. 2 months ago, in my courtroom no less, you gave false testimony, did you not? And in relation to the trial today, not only did you unlawfully enter Windibank's pawnbrokery, you also attempted to abscond with Mr. McGilda's property, it seems. You never done nothing of the sort? Of course not. It's not like you were gleefully wearing McGilda's coat in your cell yesterday or anything. And just when I was getting excited about throwing a party for Ginny this evening, and turning our attention to the defense, determining that when played together the music box disc contained a message about Morse code was, well, it was certainly a most unexpected revelation, counsel. Quite so, my lord. Prosecution was caught entirely off guard. In fact, I think we should applaud my learned friend's courage here today. I propose a toast to demanding that government secrets be disseminated before the entire courtroom. Very sorry about that. It was the only way I could get Inspector Gregson to admit what he'd done, so if I may say something on that point. That it's about the sounds produced by the music box before. I do wonder if that was really Morse code at all. What? Oh, well, it's just that I'm really rather fanatical when it comes to Morse code, you see. So much so that the whole world seems to be covered in dots and dashes to me. Goodness, madam. An unhealthy level of obsession, one feels. But I must say that in my opinion, the sounds produced by those two discs were nothing more than that. A meaningless series of two different tones. What? My lord, the defense would like to listen to the music box again. Are you off your nut? How many times do I have to tell you those discs contain ministerial secrets, sunshine? This courtroom is not an appropriate forum to discuss the nature of the government's communications. We know McGilda conspired to trade national secrets with our enemies, secrets acquired from Mr. Graydon. Now that that man has admitted to his crimes, we have no need to pursue the matter further. But it's really going to bother me.
I want to know the government secrets.
Miss Lestrade. Yeah, my lord. That which you have seen today here in this courtroom has been extremely disturbing. Falsified evidence, intimidation, perjury, a grim catalogue of depravity. An appalling experience to befall any child. Come on, it ain't nothing I didn't see most of the days back in the slums. Beg your pardon? If you're weak, you pay for it. That's just how low life goes. Gina? But look, I reckon I've worked something out today. The world ain't fair, but if you want it to change, you gotta start at home. You gotta change how you are yourself. Well, that's a very laudable lesson, I would say. I eagerly look forward to the born-again Miss Lestrade never gracing my courtroom with her presence again. Now, with regard to the murder of Mr. Pop Windibank, proprietor of a pawnbrokery business on Baker Street, I hereby declare the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade, not guilty. We did it.
So glad we prepped the confetti.
And the fireworks?
Yeah, it would be really awkward if she was declared guilty and then the fireworks went off.
Oh, now it's a fireworks gun.
Sure.
That is all. Court is adjourned.
We did it.
Listen, it's the Brits. Triangle Shirtwaist hasn't happened. It's, you know, whatever. On a personal note, I must say you've surprised me, my Far Eastern friend. Ah, oh. Despite being a Nipponese, you saw through the pretense to the malice that festered within an Englishman, and at that same time saw through the grime to the surprising heart of your English client. You have a curious talent for judging character, especially considering our very different cultures. I don't think there's anything curious about it. Whether we're from the Empire of Great Britain or the Empire of Japan, we're all human beings. We're not so very different on the inside.
Boom, racism has been solved.
You know, I took this case for one very simple reason. To lock swords with you once again here in the courtroom. You did? When I encountered you for the first time 2 months ago, it reminded me of toasting friendship and trust with another Nipponese, only to find my trust betrayed. Though you, I had hoped to look into the eyes of a man I once knew and try to understand. You mentioned something similar earlier today, about total betrayal at the hands of the Japanese. What happened exactly? Well, you may ask. And one day, when the time comes, you'll learn. Whether you like it or not.
In the next game.
Ace Attorney Chronicles 2. More Sholmes Dances of Deduction. Yeah, Bunny, finish your wine, honestly. Coming to be known as the Reaper of the Bailey in my retirement from service 5 years ago gives me cause to wonder if our meeting had some deeper purpose. Crushed again. So, farewell, my learned Nipponese fellow. Until we meet again.
Yeah, we did.
3 glasses shattered in this session alone.
Also, no, he didn't even finish his wine.
I know, right? It's done. It's over at last. Stop saying things that I've been thinking. But
It's so
where's
good.
Iris disappeared to? Ah! Congratulations, Gina. I knew it all along. Knew you were innocent. Well, you did what you said, Mr. Naruto. You believed in me, right up to the end. Irizada's your name. What's odd about it? I told you I had faith in you, didn't I? No one ever has before, see? Kept a promise, I mean. Properly. That's awful. I figured something out today. All my life, growing up in the slums, never trusted no one. That's just because I was scared of being stabbed in the back. I mean, the more you trust someone, the more it hurts when they let you down. Yes, I think I can understand that. After all, I had a taste of it in that trial 2 months ago. Chose to trust someone and paid for it. The betrayal left a big scar. You know though, Gina, I worked something out quite recently too. Trusting in someone else is really an exercise in learning to trust yourself. When your gut tells you it's the right thing to do and your trust is rewarded, there's no better feeling in the world. I think I have you to thank for reminding me of that valuable lesson. Oh, well, if you say so. Don't make a fat lot of sense to me, though. I'm trying to say that putting my faith in you, Gina, has been a real pleasure. For crying out loud, pack it in. But I suppose I sort of feel the same way. I mean, sometimes trust in someone else is, you know, alright. Thanks.
What high praise.
This is the way I see it, Ryanosuke. A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. After this experience, I'm starting to feel like I understand what you mean, Kazuma. Am I living up to your expectations? Am I turning out to be the lawyer you believed I could be? Pardon the interruption. But what the deuce does a man have to do to be noticed around here, my dear fellow? Ah, that voice. It's too late for that voice now, Mr. Naruhodo. I've been standing here patiently in the corner of the room for an eternity. Ah ha, yes, it was me all along, I would have said when you finally noticed me. But you people, with your incessant babbling... Mr. Schultz, Ahaha, yes, it was me all along, you see? There's gotta be something against impersonating a police officer, but
That's Sholmes.
I assume you've been taken back to the hospital, to be honest. Indeed I was, but I managed to escape again. Oh. I happened to be aware of one or two foibles of the doctors who were tending to me. Merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily issued me with a leave of absence. I'm very above board. But enough of my adventures. That was a fine victory, Mr. Naruhodo. Your tireless efforts justly rewarded, I feel. Congratulations are in order. As a close friend, I tip my hat at you. Oh, thank you? Huh. Some great detective you are. Great at being cold as ice, maybe. Have I irked you in some way, Miss Lestrade? While you've been having a snooze in your nice soft bed, some of us have been fighting for our lives. Ah, well, that bullet did cause me to lose a substantial amount of blood, it's true. So I have indeed been feeling somewhat cold. Not perhaps cold as ice, but well, have a feel. Could you take your hand off my neck, please, Mr. Sholmes? And, in some way, I suppose, congratulations are in order for you too, Miss Lestrade. What's that supposed to mean? Why so half-hearted? Well, naturally, it isn't my intention to alarm you, but an acquittal in a trial with that particular prosecutor is perhaps a little precarious. Well done, Mr. Sholmes. Not alarming in the slightest. Oh, the Reaper, you mean? Because anyone who's not found not guilty in a trial with him ends up dead anyway, is that it? That's the very point I was making. As exemplified by the fate of the Gilded, in fact. Ah, but of course, I pay no attention to such irrational drivel myself. Yeah, well, don't bother me. Oh, really? Of course not. The way I see it, the Reaper is a bit like him upstairs. You mean, like God? Oh boy, we're bringing religion into this. Yeah, him upstairs knows what's what, right? He knows what people are like on the inside. He won't have the wrong end of the stick. There are some coves that got bog trotter, what are rotten to the core. At the end of the day, him upstairs makes sure that they get what they deserve. I suppose that's one way of looking at it. Divine justice is one thing, though. The Reaper taking matters into his own hands and claiming lives is another. Well, I ain't like the McGildeds of this world, so I ain't got scared. I ain't scared. I got principles, see? A trait in you which has to be admired, Miss Lestrade. Oi, just give it a rest, alright? As I was saying, congratulations are in order. News of your acquittal was very welcome news to me indeed. Let me express my heartfelt congratulations, Gina. Well, there you are. Early. How long have you been here? Oh, there's Iris. Honestly, I went to the main entrance especially to meet you there. Ah, Iris, my dear, I do apologize. But wait until I tell you what happened. This pair made utter fools of themselves. What happened? As you know, I have a penchant for disguise. I was hiding in this room just as a bailiff. These dolts didn't notice my presence at all. Ha 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 ha. They had no idea. Can you imagine? Would you credit it? I'm not sure, really. Beg your pardon? Sorry, Hurley, but you just don't have the weighty presence you seem to think you have. In fact, you really ought to be careful about that. It's gonna land you in trouble one day. I'll be careful. Ouch. Anyway, it's such a shame. I'm so hoping to throw a party for Ginny tonight. But you won't be able to come, will you? Don't look like I'm gonna be nowhere for a while. You're the judge's patter. I got stuff to make amends for, apparently. All them offenses. What was it again? Breaking and entering, taking the bog trotter stuff, what was in the lug, blah blah blah. Yeah, I think you'll find that basically being a pickpocket is the main offense. But diving ain't an offense. It's a job, isn't it? I don't think so. Still, it's got me thinking all this. Maybe I should start looking for another line of work. And you didn't start off as a lawyer, did you, Otto? Well, no, but I was never a pickpocket. Well, anyway, I reckon I can make a change. I'm gonna do something for all them lot like me in the slums, something that makes a difference for them. Wonderful idea. I'm sure you can do it. What is it? Nothing. Miss Gina Lestrade. The prison carriage has arrived, ma'am. Come with me to the rear gate at once. Right. Well, looks like I'm off then. Yes, goodbye, Gina. Good luck. Otto? Yeah.
Why are we sitting here?
Ah! What was that for? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say, so...
So shoot him.
Ah, indeed. Perhaps the situation calls for a phrase hitherto missing from your vocabulary, Miss Lestrade. On occasions such as this, I would recommend a simple thank you. Oh. Oh yes, it's good advice, Ginny. Well, back, thank you, Megan. Thanks, Otto. Thank you for everything, what you've done. For believing in me. This looks so unlike Ginny, it really concerns me.
I'm sure it's fine.
Well, there she goes. I wonder if I'll ever see her again. Well, well, quite the indomitable pick purse. Oh, I nearly forgot, I bought a paper outside. It's a special edition with trials all over the front page. Pickpockets, innocence proven. Isn't it wonderful? Should have shown it to Gina Irish. She would have been thrilled. Oh no, how silly of me. Ah, but anyway, would you like the good news or the bad news? God. Well, what do you say, Bruno? Hurley? As usual, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first. Absolutely not. I have no intention to listen to anything but good news. And there you have it. How people answer that question says a lot about them, doesn't it? Let's not go there. Alright then, maybe let's start with the good news this time. The rain has finally stopped. There's a rare record level of rain. Well, that is good news. We can journey back in greater comfort. Alright then, what's the bad news? The huge storm has left the seas very choppy. The channel in particular is awful, so sailings out of Dover have been delayed a day or more. Oh, that means Susato's still here. Oh, we can wave her off. Gotcha. But there won't be a train, surely. We couldn't be that lucky. Who do you think I am, Mr. Naruhodo? Shums? I rushed to Victoria Station earlier and made it arranges for a special express. If we hurry now, we should be there in time for dinner. And I know of a fine restaurant that serves the most delicious baked sole. The great detective does it again. Indeed he does. I happen to be aware of a number of rail transport directors' foibles. What? I merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily laid on the locomotive. Elementary. Just an idea, but it might be wise to stop manipulating people that way.
I'm sure it's fine.
Alright, to London, Victoria. Oh my god, we're still going.
I kind of knew that was going to be a while, I just didn't know how long.
That took somewhat longer than I had anticipated. Susie's boat must be about to leave now. Miss Susato, where are you? Oh, there she is. Just standing by herself on a pier reading a book. Oh, look at you.
Hold it!
Hold it.
Miss Susato, wait, what are you doing? Mr. Naruhodo? What are you doing here? We came as soon as we could after the trial. I mean, we heard the sailings were being delayed due to the bad weather, you see. Oh, I see. Then tell me, how did Gina's trial go? It went well. She's acquitted.
Yeah, she'll still get arrested for the other things, but...
That's wonderful. Really wonderful news. The book you were about to throw into the sea. It was your Encyclopedia of British Law, wasn't it? Oh dear. I was hoping you hadn't seen that.
Yeah,
Not worthy of
dumb
practicing
rules.
law in any way now. So I was saying my final farewell. You're saying goodbye to law? You, Susato-san? Would I be correct in assuming it's because of the people, Miss Susato? I deliberately altered the scene of a crime, and then I tried to hide the fact. What I did is unforgivable. That reminds me. How'd you even come to have this, Susie? On the evening of the incident, Mr. Sholmes had invited Gina to dinner, if you remember. Yes, we had a wonderful time. Well, Gina gave us a little introductory lesson, didn't she? To the art of pickpocketing, I mean. She pickpocketed a whole ass gadget? Yes,
That's
please don't do
good.
that again, Iris. That bane's very important to me. Well, if it's so important, you should pay more attention to it. You didn't notice it for ages. On a whim, I thought it would be fun to see if I could take the cat flap-o-mat, so I put it up my sleeve. Then I rather forgot about it until I found myself at Windibank's shop with it later that night. And then... bang. Ah! Leave me, Naruhodo. Right! After Naruhodo left the shop, I started to think. That door started to play on my mind. The storeroom door, you mean? Yes, if Gina was anywhere in that shop, I realized it could be only behind that door. And at that moment, the little device that I had up my sleeve sprang to mind. I was so worried about Gina, I simply had to know. So you used the cat flap-o-mat to make the peephole in the door. As captured in a photographic print of the shop. One of Hurley's red-handed recordings. Indeed, it was of the first importance at that point. Precisely when the peephole was made, that information would prove to be Mr. Naruhodo's greatest weapon. Though naturally, without proof, it would have amounted to nothing. When I looked through the hole in the door, the sight that met my eyes made my blood run cold. Thoughts started to run through my mind. I remembered that the trial 2 months earlier, with Magnus Begilded, thought about how he manipulated the evidence and arranged false testimony to secure his freedom, made the British justice system feel dark and sinister. And then a terrible thought occurred to me. What if some wicked criminal was planning to do the same thing now? Because from the appearance of the crime scene, it looked exactly as though Gina had shot Windibank, even though I was sure she would never have done such a thing. We were worried that the true culprit would try to frame her for a crime. That's right, but then I realized it would be very difficult for anyone to give false testimony in this case. Well, the crime appeared to have happened behind the door of a locked room. For someone to claim falsely to have witnessed it, there would have to be a way to see beyond the door. For which a peephole would be the very thing. Only the peephole I had made wasn't actually there until after the crime had been committed. Yes, we understand. And the criminal would know that, so it wouldn't make any difference. The possibility of a rather ingenious trap was there, was it not?
I was getting very big Case 2 vibes. Of just
Yeah.
running around in circles with knowledge we already know.
Yeah. Naruhodo was backed into a corner with no other possible means of escape. The truth people could save him, and that was my plan. But then, why didn't you just tell me everything before the trial began? My dear fellow, you're not thinking straight. If she had done that, it would have rendered you complicit in the whole escapade. You could have been disbarred if you had been seen knowingly tampering with a crime scene. So she decided to shoulder the burden alone, for your sake and Lestrade's. Truth is, when it happened, I did it because I'd lost a little of my faith in the law. I don't blame her. I was worried the right person wouldn't be convicted of the crime, but the moment I allowed myself to think that, it's the moment I lost my right to call myself a judicial assistant. What you did isn't comparable to what he did. Graydon is the one who lied in the witness stand, using the peephole as a way to implicate Gina. And besides, if the peephole inconsistency hadn't existed, I'm not at all sure she would have been acquitted in the end. Miss Susato, what you did saved Gina's life. Well, with your kind words, Mr. Naruhodo, You've saved me too, from my regrets. Well, we must all be thankful that Miss Lestrade's freedom has been assured. Although some of the loose ends in that trial will continue to play on my mind, I'm sure. There was a communications officer amongst the jury members that the telegraph said that the majority of the sounds on the disc were just meaningless tones. As one would expect, after all, we are talking about secret government communications. No doubt they were written in cipher to avoid being readily understood. So we can never have hoped to understand the message anyway. Nonsense, my dear fellow. It's quite a zero-pipe problem, I assure you. That's not how the expression goes. That can't be a real world, can it? Oh god. Asogi. How'd you know that name? I wrote it down during the trial before, when the message was playing on the music box. Thought the message probably wouldn't be written out in plain Morse code, so I tried various ways to interpret it. Whatever I tried, the words just didn't seem to make sense. That is, in English at least. It suddenly occurred to me, you see, there's more than one Morse code, not just the English variety. Various countries around the world have altered and added to Morse code for use in their own languages. I actually didn't know that. And you're saying, that's right, I've only actually seen a chart of Japanese Morse code once before, but I think it's based on the Iroha pangram, isn't it? Say that Japanese Morse code, the message says Asogi. I think so. Sorry, but I don't remember all of the Japanese Morse code. Iris, would you let me see that? Susato, do you know the Japanese Morse code? Yes, I spent some time studying it. Of course you'd have. So I'm quite sure it will become ever more important for international communications. Alright, that does sound at least on brand for her. Focus efforts on the English version. Be that as it may, Iris, show me the message. But what can this possibly mean? Come on. There's no doubt that this message is written in Japanese Morse code. Yes, 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 yes. I don't know why, but the message appears to be a list of 4 people's names. First is K. Asogi, Kazuma, yeah. Second is A. Shin. T. Gregson. Oh. Gregson. And the last name. It's just so strange, so unexpected. What? Come on, just fucking spit it out. Last name is J. Wilson. Yep, there it is.
Someone who's dead. You died?
Yep. And after those 4 names it reads, if I translate from Japanese, that is all 4.
That was a hit list, wasn't it?
Yeah?
At least 2 of the 4 dead.
And a prominent inspector of Scotland Yard, yep. Fear that this may be some kind of communication between Great Britain and Empire of Japan. So Dad could be in Japan then. Oh no. Oh no. I mean, there are thousands of people with the surname Wilson, and there must be a lot of J's amongst them. Professor John H. Wilson, visiting professor of medicine at Imperial Yume University. Can't tell Iris about that now, we just can't. Why?
Alex,
So
do you want them to
strange.
talk even more?
That's true. Somehow solving this case, I feel like I've rolled back a boulder to the mouth of a very dark cave. I do wonder, perhaps it's a dark cave we shouldn't go wandering inside. I'll probably just like watch a synopsis of this fucking thing, because I'm curious, but I'm not that curious.
You don't want to do more dances of deduction?
Not if they're gonna be 5-hour affairs like this fucking thing. Dance, dance till you're dead.
Do, 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 do.
Yep.
Do, do,
It
do,
seems
do,
so.
do, do, do.
I'll sail on that steamship first to the port of Dunkirk in France, then change onto a larger vessel bound for Japan. You're really going then, Susie? We wish you a safe passage, Miss Susato. Thank you so much. I wish all of you the very best. Miss Susato, I'd hoped to have you always at my side to guide me and support me. Please, come back soon. As far as I'm concerned, you really are the very best judicial assistant in the world. Kiss her, you fool.
Alex, that takes more time.
That's fair.
Alex, right
I
away.
made you a promise I've yet to fulfill. A promise?
No.
About your manuscript. Ah, yes. I'll be waiting for you then, Susie. A promise is a promise. Get gone, Susato. Mr. Naruhodo, do you remember the first time we met? Yes, in the SS Berea when I was dragged out from the wardrobe. No! If I remember correctly, you threw me halfway across the cabin with a Susato takedown. You know what I'm talking about after that. It's strange, but being thrown together as we were in that case, I somehow felt straight away that you were the perfect person to continue Kazuma-sama's great legacy.
Goodbye.
My instincts were right. I really want to believe. No, I'm sure that I'll be back soon. Farewell until then. We actually saying farewell? We're gonna go to another 18-minute monologue about fucking soul or whatever.
Don't tempt them, Alex.
Oh, it's an animation.
That's gotta trigger. That's gotta be the end, right?
Somehow we
No,
seem
for the
to
next
have come to
animation.
the end of the adventures of Ryu
Call it a day.
Naruhodo. Or the first volume, at least.
Key.
Looking back now, it feels as though fate has led me on this journey.
Wagai.
Why Also, I was just half waiting for you to just run straight off.
Fate led me to becoming a lawyer. to
Apparently,
traveling
I've been
halfway around
very
the
much
world, to
Anglicanizing
meeting the great
our main
detective.
character's name. I've been saying Ryanosuke Naruhodo.
I'm sure there'll be trials and
Per the
tribulations
animation,
ahead.
it is
Of course
Ryanosuke
they will.
Naruhodo. So I have been
Whatever
Anglicanizing
happens,
it to hell.
To
But
be fair,
no, I'll be able
We're
to
in
turn
America.
my fortunes
no,
around.
we're in Great Britain.
it's a joke.
Sure.
To be fair,
Fine.
what'd you expect? That was his prized possession.
After
He was getting
all.
back from Windibanks.
I have the greatest friends in the world on my side.
Hit us with the tail card, please.
At the end, anything.
Something. Fade to black. Okay. What now?
I have some rather awkward news. The railway company has decided to sue over the special express train. It caused such a commotion on the line, all the other trains had to wait at stations. But really, we would never have made it to Dover in time otherwise. Anyway, I explained everything and how it was all your fault. I believe a formal complaint should be delivered to your office tomorrow. Not to worry, my dear fellow. According to Miss Susato, you have defending yourself in court. It's alright, I'm perfectly happy to testify. He really didn't look like the sort of man who'd do something so outrageous. See? Sholmes? Yes? A word, if you don't mind. Why, certainly. Any word you'd like. Bellow it out, dear fellow. Oh yes, I love Bruno's words, and I just know the one he'll use here. Then I really must say, objection.
Objection!
Okay, that's fair. Okay, it's done. Thank God.
Oy vey. We only went 45 minutes overtime. The following week's hundreds of music boxes have arrived from Bakerstown from across all of Europe. Something was afoot, though it transpired I had ordered them all myself, so I advertised them for sale with "used by Mr. Sholmes to solve an important case, and the money I've earned consulting detective work pays pittance by comparison." Kazuya.
So anyway, while this plays, any news, Alex, about what's plans?
This won't end. Damn.
So anyway, any news for what's next?
Next week we are doing what is called in the community a Soul Link Nuzlocke of Pokemon Black and White. Oh wait. Ouchie. Sorry, I'm just struck dumb by that entire throwback. Basically, it is a Nuzlocke, which is the traditional Pokemon challenge run of the first Pokemon you catch on any, god damn it, words, on any route is the only one that you can have, and a Soul Link means that two people are playing simultaneously, and any ones are linked together. So if one dies, both die.
I was going to say, I was about to say, until you said that last one, I was going to say, the big thing about the Nuzlocke is one per route, and then if they die, they're dead forever.
Yes. Yeah, it's called a Soul Link Nuzlocke. So Trevor and I will be essentially playing 2 games of Pokemon side by side, and if either of our Pokemon faints, it takes the other ones down with us. It's like super challenge mode Pokemon.
Because we're good at the game.
Also, I think it just said that what's his face, the prosecutor who is definitely like dying, just arrested our former Japanese client for no reason. Because he laid low on the SS Burya after the whole situation went down.
But yeah. But that's a next week thing.
The latest Rants magazine is out, I'm in it again. Whenever I say that one line she right now, I get a standing ovation. Want to hear it? Oh boy. Not bad, I suppose, for an amateur. Shouldn't you be in prison or something?
Anyway, but yeah, so that's next week. Tuesday, more P3. We finally get to use Puppy. I've just taken him on walks, I haven't actually brought him into battle yet.
He do the Yahoo.
And then Thursday is more, Mystery Dungeon. I was going to do some grinding off stream, couldn't really do that, because as soon as I finished one dungeon, they went, "Hey, you want to know more plot stuff?"
I don't need that mental image. He basically said, I've been visiting my wife every day in jail, but it's kind of worked out. My leg injury has been healed by the extra exercise. The whole maid thing, I'm my own maid. I hope the people don't recognize that. Oh boy. Why is he here again?
What do you mean?
Because he tampered with evidence.
Did you not hear the very end of saying, I don't, Bobby shouldn't do that, I never want to see you here again. But you're free to go, I understand.
I know, I maintain my statement.
Let the sleepy Bobby live.
No, because his wife is a fucking menace.
Yeah, she is. Throw her in jail.
I'm okay with that. Hi, Gina. Looks like I'm gonna be doing time for a bit now. But Iris comes every day for a natter, so it ain't too boring.
That's fair.
She's always going on about all them cases what Sholmes is looking into. Criminal investigations are kinda interesting when you get into them.
Well, you certainly got into quite
True
a few
crime
criminal investigations.
Time for Gina to start ye old true crime telegraph. Oh, yeah, wait, I have to... Yeah, there we go. Hi there. Yes, I renounced my upbringing and chose a life of sophisticated crime. But regrets? Please. Give over, bruv. That ain't the Ash we used to know. We got time in here to plan the old comeback of Milverton and Skulkin's milk run, right? The Three Musket Whatsits. Milk in the neighborhoods for all it's worth. Isn't he, like, set to be executed for, like, 4 different crimes?
Is it a crime because we don't think it's actually government secrets, even though we now know it is, but they just thought it was random troops.
Either way, for the murder, it's a capital offense. They said that much. And he admitted to 2 of them.
It's like a lowercase.
Hi, Susato. This past 6 months has been a time I shall remember forevermore.
Wait, 6 months?
Painful goodbyes and wonderful encounters. I've come to realize that's what life is all about. Naruhodo-san, I promise your assistant will return to you one day. Oh, I think this is saying that the next game is 6 months after this. Now I leave you with many memories and a heartfelt wish that life will treat you well. Either that or it's the 2-month sea voyage plus the 2 months in Britain plus L plus ratio. Because they did say that Kazuma wouldn't be leaving for like another month or something like that. So if you want to ballpark it, it's fine. Wagahai.
Wagai, oh, Wagai.
He's a friend.
Yeah.
I like his bow tie.
He dapper enough. We good? We can't be good, right? Elrora's definitely good. We're not doing that again. Nice thing about Pokemon, you can stop whenever.
Unless you're in the middle of a battle.
Yeah, but a battle doesn't take 2 hours. Let's do some serious stall strats. And if you go full on Toxic Protect stall and it takes us an extra hour after when we normally finish, I quit.
But what if I win and you don't lose your Mon?
I would rather lose my mom than sit through an hour of Protect stall spam. Or Protect Toxic spam.
Okay. Finally done. Good night. I've been up for almost an extra hour longer than I should be, so I'm just gonna say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.